And well, it's Chris is going to be able to take Celtic down. Oh, Keta with the Balti on Crossberg as well. I'm terrified of this next shift. Justice is actually coming across the water once again. I think they realize that technically, if they need to, they would be the ones that will be able to move across first, right? They know that they've got a linchpin there. They know that nobody else was there. They're the ones playing with the most information. And in fact, tucking the boat away, hiding it a little bit, just in case it needs to be played. I kind of like this for them.
Yeah, it's not bad. Just whacking the boat in Smuggler's Cove. See what we can do with that one. A couple of pirates on TMO looking to raid the islands later on, but we'll wait and see if we do need that boarding party. But yeah, you can't get your hopes up. You just can't. Because I've been disappointed.
Are you saying should I temper my expectations here, Blank?
I think you should temper your expectations, as should I. I'm getting a little bit too excited here. I need to calm down.
That would be a crazy way to open up PEC.
It really would be.
Boostik's coming on down as well to try and rendezvous with the rest of Na'Vi. So at least they get one res off. Unless, do my eyes deceive me? Where's Na'Vi? Okay, yeah, they didn't get Ferris either. But, I mean, it'll be okay. Ferris will kind of lead from the skies, as it were. Be able to kind of jump around on those camera angles and see what's going on. There is another emergency pickup coming up from the north, and I think it's Bushido. Yeah. So they're kind of trying to time this out with Circle Pop and see what they can do from there, which actually could work out, right? Like, it might be one of the better ways if a silly island circle actually does occur.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I'm very curious about the amount of e-pickers that are going to be coming through into phase 2, just in case we do get one of those silly circles over towards the eastern side. But actually, it's not that many. Ooh, drum roll, please.
There's no way, surely. There's no way. Where are we going?
Where are we? I told you, you got to temper them. You got to temper them.
That's fair.
It's disappointing. I'll put it. It's disappointing. I'm disappointed. We're all disappointed.
Apart from the teams. Because any time you get a circle like that, they're hating life, but we're enjoying it. The best times in PUBG are when you watch the players and teams suffer. Thankfully for them, they're all like, oh, okay, well, we've kind of got some positions in this field and we'll play it out. So they're okay with it.
Yeah, it's not too bad. For Twisted Minds, still not a bad position to be playing on over towards that high ground on Impala. Works out quite well for them. They've got good sight lines down towards construction workers who finally made their way in. Now you know you can play a little bit more aggressively over towards Impala, the construction site that sits on the northern side as well. So I think overall not too bad. Let's zero back in on this side of the map as well.
Exactly. Because this is where the narrative changes, Blank, from a potentially silly game to a very, very normal game. So much so that these positions are extremely common. Jeez Louise, no, it's like, calm down. Trying to take Boostik out from... He's only just got back in the game.
Right.
But as you said, Hive has an amazing position currently on kind of where the jump is along the road, as well as potentially the kind of long building that is south of them. Na'Vi technically also has a really valuable compound as well in a circle like this. Some of the compounds north of that road are not taken at all currently, where we saw S2G actually get a win at PGS from a circle like this. So this becomes what is a very thought out normal circle for PUBG.
Yeah, I always find that this is kind of a weird one as well, because it's sort of that three-way pie chart where you look over towards the northeast side and there's that position over there, over towards the coast. You've got Longhouse, you've got the construction site, then you've got the basically barren fields with a couple of compounds on the northwest, and you come back down towards that south side with the high ground, sloping down over towards the big warehouses. But it is one of the situations where you can really only focus on one of those three areas. And it's sad because I do think that this is one of those circles where it's hard, unless you have some incredible plays, to win from one of those outside areas transitioning across the pie chart, let's say.
It's a tough one. I mean, especially if we get the circle like suddenly shifting towards Impala, and then all hell breaks loose out there. Like, I mean, not only the fact that Twisted Minds still has the high ground, which technically speaking, like normally we see the shifts away from, and how that all works on out. S2G's controlling kind of choke points and checkpoints on that south side with gas station, but it is so common we see the field be the finish that in my mind, I'm almost biased towards it. Like, I feel like it's going to go there, even though it doesn't necessarily have to right now. So we'll see.
Yeah, again, I always feel like it is a bit magnetized towards that field as well, and we start getting a little bit fizzy over on those ramps where Hive's kind of playing around. It's a tough area. I do think that for Hive, especially that position, it's almost surprising they don't have Mogor over towards where Dante and Schengen are, because I think you do really need a significant fragger to hold out that spot versus teams that do move in. But eventually, I imagine they all will start moving that way as the circle gets a little bit tighter over time. But yeah, if we move towards Impala, that roadside trying to traverse over towards that direction, it's horrendous. And then you have that fun game of how many teams can we squeeze into Impala?
Yeah, stuff one. For no slack, of course, they technically had a very okay position on that compound, which sits on the west side of these fields, but that's no longer in play. Usually becomes very conflicted and very contested, but not to be the case in this one. As Virtus Pro, only 2 alive in this game. Not the best of starts, but you know what? They are keen to shoot at everything, apparently, as Vis is going to be flying overhead here with the glider. The problem for Vis is that they are going to have a right tail ahead of them here. How are you supposed to play in here? I guess you're going to play on the south side, seeing that SUG has rendezvoused on the gas station, and then from there try and play it out. But, I mean, if the circle shifts anywhere else other than directly south, I don't know, it's tough for Vis.
Yeah, it's funny because Vis is like, from the times I've watched them, I kind of want to lock back on this because Perfectus does hit his shots and is still causing problems for him and from TMO. Looking to take out the other tire. Oh, he is cruel. He is cruel.
He's hitting him as well, and now I feel like he has to get out after that's 5 shots after that clip go down there on the MK. So not exactly the most amount of bullets to start working things with and just peppering everything.
Yeah, it's tough. It's definitely tough. It's a good nade over towards Jogo Bonito, and they scatter immediately. Very, very terrifying there. I was going to say about Viz is that from watching them in the Cups, they have very, very exciting and creative endgames for Miramar that you might not expect. So we'll see what they've got in the playbook here. But again, it doesn't look great for the time being. Jogo Bonito, though, starting to move up. Stun grenades going through. Simon will open up onto Levante from Vitality. It's a good start. And after taking down a couple of players from Na'Vi right at the beginning of the game, this is a bit of a warpath that Jogo Bonito is currently on.
Yeah, they love to fight, I think it's fair to say. I think if I had to gamble for this, I'd say you make a send on one of the Hive 2-2s and see what happens later on when the circle moves away from
Give it a crack.
That's, probably what may end up going down, considering their position and what is actually, available, not vacant, etc. But Jogo Bonito is trying to make this completely vacant for themselves, as Vitality has backed off. Now, the circle plays in Vitality's favor, right? They're a little bit further deeper into the circle, but eventually, Nemesis is having a little bit of a nosy over here, with So said. So if they're not careful, transitioning from building to building, they could have a little bit of poking from their eastern side. Okay, we're parachuting.
If a Diffex, or So said, sorry, always likes to have a little bit of a nosy, right?
Yeah.
Always peeking through the curtains. This guy likes to see what's going on around the map, but that does always play back into their favor. I think So said providing that information is fantastic. And like you say, we do get that magnetization over towards the western side of the map, and suddenly Hive's compound becomes really, really high value. TMO managed to just about sweep in on the south side here, but a lot of open sight lines their way. But Hive is loving life with this entirety of the eastern side kind of cut off in terms of sight lines. They only have to focus teams over towards their northwest and south, which is very, very nice to see for them.
Yeah, perfect timing to make the move, because if they didn't, they would have been crunched down on by maybe even multiple teams. But it was no slack that takes up the position on the jump as well as the middle of the road. At the same time, there is the dip southwest of Hive's position on the kind of intersection of the road that does actually provide some cover for teams later on down the line. So maybe we'll see someone inhabit that for the moment. As Quizzy now taking a lot of damage, and he will go down here. Jogo Bonito is once again ramming into these positions, going for the shutdown. They take some casualties along the way, but Slavin's got himself 3 kills. Not bad.
I mean, So said, not doing terribly. The back of that, honestly. Getting some good damage done, looking for a little bit more, like you say.
Oh,
Vitality does go
pop. Hakatori special. Bam, there he is, Hakatori. You open your fridge, bam, there he is, Hakatori. He's everywhere.
I'd hate that. But
It's happened for a few years now.
Problem.
You open up appliances here and there, bam, there he is, Hakatori, and then he, haphazardly became the MVP of PGS2 because he's Hakatori, he's pretty good at the game.
Some Hakatori control on that one, get them on the line, and deal with that. But yeah, I think Hakatori so far has already shown off exactly why people fear him so much in the game. Virtus Pro now starting to make their way in after being pestered, bothered by Jogo Benito, but Code Marco will be the one to take him out there from Bushido Wildcats, who had a little bit of an unfortunate start swerving on their road path past Ascend, who were able to find a couple of kills their way, and now it's just slowly petered out a little bit. But yeah, this is a hard approach now. How do Seoul get across here? Which position do they take? Do they try and go for a Hail Mary? Do they try and get rid of X-Howl first and then sweep up on the north side? Because technically these buildings aren't outside the circle just yet, but you'd expect in the near future they will be.
Yeah, it's a tough one because generally when I would think Seoul and the XBB team, I would think to myself, okay, them coming in relatively late, playing edge play, but being able to shoot at everything that moves and actually winning out a lot of those fights is usually their forte. The only problem for coming in from Impala is it's a road and then a downhill into fields, and then everyone shoots at you. Yeah, it's a toughie.
It's a real problem, and that road is not small. I mean, it's one of the widest ones to cross. So we'll see what happens to that one. But yeah, like we say, now they have to move. X-Howl though, going for a classic X-Howl maneuver. They're going to immediately send out. They do have in the Na'Vi camp a mortar set up here. Now I wonder what they're going to be doing with this one. They do need to use it shortly though, because they're on the edge and will have to move.
Yeah, it's a very extreme angle on it as well, so they were looking for a far off target with that. But at the same time now, a big crash on through. X-Howl, I should say, does manage to clean up this position and get themselves to spot. There is technically still that dip that I suspect Vis might be the ones to try and move into below the Hive compound that does exist. Oh, no, they're going to go, okay, they're moving. Where are we going? On the side of the road and using that as a transition point, but it's not as easy to be able to play the field on this side. I guess they want to go big or go home because they're going through the middle.
All right, so Baron can be sent up the mortar, but you're right. For Viz, though, they're sort of the Bob Ross of endgames.
Oh, wow.
They're very creative, they look for something interesting, and they try and paint that picture. It's going to be a hard approach here, and there is oil smeared all across the canvas, but they are in.
It's not working, Blank. Abandon ship. There's 2 down already, as Diffx is able to put in a bit of damage as well, whilst Hive is able to shut a lot of it down. But X-Howl is being peppered by some of these mortar shots. They've got to be very careful. They're trying to spread themselves out a little bit. That extra smoke thrown down means that they could spread themselves out. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough to spread yourself out in this area. The mortar shots are a little bit far off, though, Kale. It's kind of unfortunate for Na'Vi, but that would have been a pretty insane shot. Actually, from S2G, sorry.
Yeah, those were the S2G.
But for S2G, if they were able to grab those, they would have been able to pick up this position. But it's too little too late to set up another mortar shot for them. Already the nades are in the hands of the boys on X-Howl.
The issue is S2G really needed those mortars to land because they need that dip. Currently, Hive is looking at them, and if they couldn't actually dislodge a team from the dip that they would most easily be able to transition to, then it might be absolute lights out for them. That said, though, Soul is putting in a lot of damage against X-Howl here. That's an absolute red zone being pumped down on them. Oh, my days. Howl the man is the only one left alive here to be able to try and make something work against this, but he's being shot from the side as well. Spiro can see him from all the way over the edge. These teams want them gone so that they can try and hold on to this themselves.
I mean, the Mad has had some pretty pop-off moments, but he's looking more and more like a balloon himself here, ready to be popped with a pin and one of these grenades, and he will be out. And Seoul do manage to maintain a lot of their players. It's been a slow approach from Seoul, but I do like this play from them. And now they're looking over towards S2G. Baron's been very cheeky, tried to make his way in the vehicle, immediately taken out of the picture. Very nicely done by Seoul. A really patient approach there that worked out fantastically well for them, and they can nestle themselves in on this side just underneath Hive and kind of use them as the guard dogs for the rest of the lobby. So potentially Hive placing the circle, moving away from them once again, and now Seoul needs to figure out a different path in.
Yeah, hopefully for Seoul, they've got some smokes there from the body boxes that were down in that, because they're going to have to make a push on towards Hive's compound in a few moments' time. But Hive realizes that. Hive knows that a lot of threats are going to be coming their way. Not only Ascend on the fact that they're up there as well, but also Nemesis is going to need an answer. Where are we going to be going from that northeast side? And there could be some significant crashes. And this is still alive. You can see them here in this picture at the moment. The fact that they are still alive means that there's just kind of booby traps here for any teams that might want to also approach this and try and deal with Hive. The smokes are going down.
It's hard, right? I mean, I think the funny thing for Seoul at the moment is that it's technically the most high-value play here for them would just be to crash the south side of Hive's compound. If they try and send north on this one, they're going to get caught up in the razor blades that are Ascend as well as Viz. It's a really, really difficult decision for them to make.
Metabay even trying to go for the backstab, but Phil first turns around. He was a prodigy a few years ago, and he's been a mainstay ever since for BB team. And going into Seoul now. Seoul looking fantastic on the position that they're in. So said trying to shut down the rest of Ascend, who was caught in the shack, and they are being blown to smithereens at the moment. If more guns come from Nemesis, I don't know how Ascend gets out of this one.
Yeah, I mean, Nemesis are just so good at suffocating squads out, just slowly applying the pressure until it's just a little bit too much. And they don't often have to send too much utility in to do that either. So already Ascend's down to 2, and Nemesis feels like they've got a lot of time to work with here. Doozy, though, has been spotting this out from the south side. Spots over towards Team Nemesis as they start to move in, but Chris will go down. More shots from a Doozy. Smokes are immediately placed to stop these shots from coming through, and now Team Nemesis might need to double back.
Yeah, Ascend, you are the meat in this sandwich. It is no go for you at all. Kiliakai down. Ascend is gone from the sheer pressure coming in. That was a blue zone from Phil First as well. Phil First has found his footing already in just 2 games alone here for Seoul. The first one didn't go their way at all, but more nades against them. They were able to find so many Molotovs here. Oh my days, and it continues. Bye-bye, Nemesis.
That was just one perfectly placed nade after another. And Seoul lights them up. What a absolute explosive entrance onto the scene here for Team Seoul. It looked a little bit dreary in that last game, but what a play from them here. Doozy providing that information all the way back from the very beginning of that fight, and they capitalized. It's a really nice blue zone grenade as well that they threw out towards the start of that fight as well, Kale, where not only did it finish off the players within that building, but it provided a lot of more space for them to move up where Team Nemesis couldn't gain ground on them inside the building. Very, very smart plays from them.
They're no doubt one of the biggest pickups in PEC for Seoul, from BB team going over to Seoul after being let go from BB team. So Seoul has got some real high hopes for this squad. They have shown that they are championship material in the past. What an acquisition for Seoul. And now Na'Vi going to be trying to move around on the south side here. Unfortunately for them, though, Mogor and Dante instantly shut down Boostic. There's not many options here left alive for Spiro and Hakatori down in that south side.
Most like looking for an entrance into this one, but it's looking dire right now. Mortar being the only saving grace for them. Soul tries to move in. No slack takes shots over towards a Doozy. Phil First out straight away. But best of luck now needs to make something big happen. Phil First is down. Molodok as well. It looks like Seoul might have just about crashed themselves into this one.
I think they've done so well, critically and analysing exactly what they needed to do to be able to move from dip to dip. I mean, as much as, yes, they're not going to be able to win out this game in a like 0.5% chance basically now of being able to win it, they've done enough, considering they had to come from Impala, had to make those transitions. I did see a smoke route for them trying to go towards the Hive position, but realised, okay, we're not going to be able to do that. But here, regardless, Hive once again in a decent position with this compound, having the pick of the litter for it. And this was early, Blank, that they had this. They understand there's so many finishes in these fields. Just hold these positions, hold them strong, and it will reap rewards.
I mean, a second into a first place here would be absolutely ginormous for them. The best thing for Seoul here, though, is that they've set themselves up in a spot now where it's a likely second place if they can hold out versus No Slack. And they have the help of Hive here versus No Slack as they make their way in. It's a great nade, though, from IXC over towards Bestalok. And now it's all down to Phil first. Another nade will tag him pretty heavily. And Hive's nowhere to be seen, actually.
He must be gone at this point here. They've done what they could, Seoul, but trying to deal with the torrent of aggression that's going to be coming from No Slack should be impossible here. Phil first. Now, he's gone. Satta as well as IEXE are able to shut it down. I've been quite impressed by the fact that Na'Vi's lasted for as long as they have on the other side, but they haven't really had many to compete with them on that west side because nobody really wanted to be over there in those fields. That was kind of the last-ditch effort, and the circle bears down straight on the road, Blank.
Yeah, I mean, for Hive, this is now time to take some notes from last game. Obviously, they don't have to move just yet. They want to take advantage of this high ground on the longhouse as much as possible from teams moving out, and they might just be able to finish the game off of that. In particular, slots out Spiro, immediately takes shots. It's insanely well placed as well. Very short time frame. Really well done from Dante there to find one kill over towards Na'Vi. It's very unlikely they get the res off there, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, the thing is that in the end, Blank, this is classic Hive gameplay. Let the game come to them and have, in the previous game, of course, carved out a pretty decent spot for them to be able to play it. This time around, stay 4 alive. You don't really need to be shooting at a lot here for a compound like this to work, right? Because nobody really wants to approach it. Look how open it is at every single angle from this compound, as we have a little bit more going down here to be able to try and make some of these transitions for Na'Vi, knowing that they need to try and get into the circle, get Spiro up on board, and see if you can make the move with some of this deployable cover. But I don't know, man. There's going to be a lot of people looking this way.
I thought it was a little bit further over this hilltop. I'm not going to lie. But
it's all right.
He does get rezzed up. So Na'Vi's back on too. So although it did look very nice when the shots come through from Dante, a little bit inconsequential. We'll just probably look for those kills once again later. But yeah, you're right. This game is a case of letting it come to them for Hive. But eventually we'll have to move. Oh, that's unfortunate. I think he only tagged him. I think he actually took some shots. I don't know if it was from Na'Vi or Hive, but then it was the tag from the vehicle as he reversed that took him down.
Yeah, it can get a bit dicey there. I mean, like, especially with smokes involved as well, you're like trying to judge some of those distances, and sometimes these things happen, especially in desperate moments where you're thinking to yourself, every second is going to matter against you. It'll be interesting to see if they can make anything work from this. I mean, if you're No Slack and Na'Vi, your prime target right now should technically be Hive. Otherwise, they're guaranteed winning this game. They're taking some shots at Dante as he transitions through against this. They do have some smoke still available here to them to No Slack, so they're not being shot at just yet. And they are trying to make moves alongside this road, but eventually these will dissipate, and eventually it will be open here, Blank.
I'm trying to get the Murado through as long as possible. Surprised this thing's still going, honestly, with the health pool it has. But yeah, more smokes engaged here. They've kept a lot for this late game to try and make their way through. And there is a world where No Slack can potentially make this work. That is a nasty nade over towards Hive as well as they're attempting to leave here. Luckily, they had the emergency cover flares, but as do Na'Vi.
Yeah, it's a slow roll at the moment, and No Slack still has a few smokes available to them. I think it was just Satta had 3 available still. Never mind who else has some. Double nade, coordinated forwards. Will it be able to connect? Does do a little bit of damage, but not enough. Everybody knows now that Hive is moving into dangerous territory for them. Like, they are now being a bit more vulnerable compared to any moment in this game, but they go down to the blue, does Na'Vi. They're done. It's up to No Slack to do something against Hive in number 1.
I think the thing is, for No Slack, they have these trees actually to work with. I know it's very, very minimal, but they do. And it's the smokes as well that are playing a big part into this one. The amount of smokes they kept on board is big. Dante goes down as he attempts to make the cross. We're still in a 3v3 here. It's very possible. Dante flushed out now as they continue to send some more their way. Their stun grenade blinds them a little bit. It's a good shot from Mogor, trying to keep things alive. Turns away from the stun grenade. Not quite enough.
Oh, No Slack! What a play from them! Able to hit their shots. They knew Hive was going to be vulnerable on that move out. And No Slack does take the win there. And bear in mind, Blank, this is the team that moved in behind Hive's 2-2 after they all rendezvoused on that longhouse. So very important. It really shows how much control, in inverted commas, Hive had on the prime positions, because they were in both of them until No Slack pushed them away.
It's that potential growth, man. That's what it's all about. They're really growing into the shoes of PEC. What a wonderful moment, Avenger, at the end of this game. And I think for No Slack, the big thing that struck for me was the utility usage. I can't believe they managed to get through all the way to that end game with basically nothing to work with.
Yeah, the potential growth and the potential bait for a island circle. I had you guys excited for a while. I was excited about it too, guys. But yeah, this Impala ending here. The so-called Diamond Dogs shacks here that Hive were in for so long. There's a reason why these have been, contested for years and years. But yeah, what a explosive game here. But I'll say this though. No Slack. Them taking the Rams and taking the amount of control that they had to then backfill, to take control again and again. What an amazing game. There's so much action throughout.
Yeah, there's good reasons why these are such high priority positions in circles like this. Because aside from the Hive compound, aside from having the roadside on those ramps, what else do you really have to play with? You see, as you watch the highlights here, Blank, and all of these teams just naded out. A few dips here and there, and it will be interesting once actually the destructible terrain really comes into play once we get to that for esports mode. But for now, that's not a thing for some of these battlegrounds, and it's just absolute carnage here. But No Slack, Victor's almost 32-minute game. Jeez. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, I've got a question for you, Kel. Honestly, are you surprised by some of these cup teams coming in? I mean, I had high hopes for a team like No Slack, who I've always said has had a lot of growth over the weeks. But how surprised are you guys of how well they're doing in these games?
I'm not too surprised just yet, because I've always said, Blank, our region has the most depth out of any region, and I've said this ever since we go back to 2019 Avenger, and I think it's fair to say these teams can still hang, and we're 2 games deep. They've got some good positions, and there are no pushovers. They're going to be able to work with them, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's the most beautiful thing about this, right? That we have so much depth. There's so many great players, and even with meshing multiple old players in and out here, as we see though, Soul and Phil first here on this new team coming in with the most kills. That is awesome, but the way that these new teams obviously are coming in, but that's what we were talking about on the pre-show, guys. Them having these 5 weeks to play against the majority of the teams that they're going to come in and play against, on top of that also being in the scrims. And the other guys that are coming in, I would say, slightly exhausted from traveling, from everything that went on with PGS. That's also been exhausting. So it's tough to compete. They're at their, rest of their home and just chilling out, playing games, playing the cups, grinding. Meanwhile, the other guys are traveling, and that could have an impact.
Yeah, not only that, I think also hungry, right? You're watching, if you're Soul, if you're Phil first here, being able to take #1, of course, the Khabib of PUBG. If you're Phil first and Soul, you've been watching these tournaments, Blank, like PGS go down, and thinking to yourself, we should be there. We should be the ones that are able to try and rival for these spots. And there's gonna be a lot of hunger behind those barrels for sure.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. It really is beautiful stuff looking at some of those cup teams and how hungry, like you say, they are. And they're voracious at the moment. But it will be interesting to hear some of these regional teams and what they're thinking about these games, as well as we do have a listen-in with VP. And hopefully this time, it's not just the silence on construction workers. They're just super focused. Hopefully we'll hear something this time.
Let's listen in.
One more. You see him, Nix? Just shoot outside. Shoot there. Outside, he's outside, Nix. No.
I'm blue zoning it 4 times. Come.
He's on that wall.
I'm blue zoning everything, chill.
Yeah, give me a second. Nice teammates on the fucking top.
They knocked someone.
They're knocked. Did you rest?
No.
The two guys. No? Did rest?
It's the EP.
Yeah.
Coming in, they're coming in with a lot of expectations on them, but also they're coming in somewhat cold, right? They've just traveled, they've just, haven't played all the cups and everything, but still.
Maybe a day or 2 off.
Yeah, a little few days off, but still coming in, playing a few scrims and getting used to your home setup compared to the other guys that have been grinding for 5 straight weeks in the cups, right? It's vastly different.
Yeah, very much so. And actually, that was for some of the teams that are like the regional partners, for example, right? Like an Ascend, like I'd spoken to some of those guys. They were very cold compared to, as you say, the cup teams that had so much competition to be able to play through. As you see this moment as well for Beamy, who was trying to go for what was effectively probably a full team res for him, try and go off, but Metabay just lurking in the wings, brutal stuff there to be able to try and have that happen. Because actually, it doesn't happen as commonly as you might think, Blank, right? Like, normally people get their rests off and they just go by their business. But yeah, being able to catch him at the rest station, tough stuff.
Yeah, it feels a bit cruel, right? It definitely feels a bit cruel. Even let him get a good 7 seconds into that one as well. He let him feel the hope of bringing his team back before cutting it short.
I think it's because it took 7 seconds to kill him because he was only shooting his toes. That's like 5 damage, 6 damage, 5 damage, 2 damage.
He got 9 of them before he went down.
Let's not have this conversation that we had a PGS of like, what does constitute as 1 damage in real life? And I'm like, well, I don't know, like a nail being ripped off. And everyone's like, no, it's not that, it's not that. But we also do actually have no damage to you guys at home because you've got half a code to redeem. Now, what do I mean by that? As you can see below us, half of the code, you've got to go on a scavenge hunt. You've got to go on social medias and find the other half of the code. So make sure to write that on down and then go and find the other half of the code for some free G-Coin in-game. Everyone loves free G-Coin, right, Blank? I know you don't get any free G-Coin.
What the hell?
What the hell?
He strays out of nowhere.
That's crazy work. You can't be doing that. Yeah, I would love to go on a scavenger hunt myself, but being on the broadcast and a humble guy, I'm not going to pick this up for myself. Obviously, it's all for you guys. All for you guys. But I might look for it just for the competition. Okay, maybe I get there first. Who knows? But yeah, you can find the other part of the code over on social media. But I will glow that if I found it today after the next couple of games.
Well, we are moving on to Tago next. And so far, I think Blanks really hit the nail on the head, Avenger, is that our cup teams looking fiery to start things off. 2 games, only a small sample size, but it has definitely gone their way so far, looking good.
Yeah, but also you can't take away. It's a best of 5. Top 8 goes through the finals, right? So at this point, I would say that, again, we're talking about a cutoff for top 8, but somewhere between 25 to 31 points or something like that. 3 of these guys just need a few more points. Then they're literally in the top 8 and they're literally in the grand finals. Yeah, true. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, unless they go 0-0-0 and the other teams go popping. I think Hype is in at this point. Also, the confidence from these 2 games is going to be easy for them. So now, you know, the 13 other teams that are not guaranteed don't run into Hive at this point. They're absolutely going to destroy you. Mogo is an absolute tear at this point. So yeah, avoid them at all costs.
Yeah, not too surprised that again Mogo being picked up by this team has been able to make some waves. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense, right? Because the thing is that they technically could have huge impacts on this lobby here, Blank, despite just already being in a great position to be able to advance on. And I don't think they'd mind at all being able to take out some of the top dogs and send them down to some of the lower portions of this tournament and see if they get unlucky there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think for Hive, like we said at the start, if they get towards those late games, they're very, very good. It's been slightly disappointing where they're not able to quite close some of them out, though, right now. But I think even so, the amount of kills that they're getting, the way they're getting towards the end of the game, I really don't think that if you're a fan of Team Hive, you could be very disappointed with this. I think you should actually be very elated considering the teams that they're going up against. I think Martin brings up a great point as well, is that, you know, maybe some of these top teams, they're feeling a little bit of the exhaustion slightly from travel days, which absolutely is the case for a lot of teams as you go through a grueling circuit. But even so, I still think they're doing fantastically well against some of these very, very seasoned players.
One thing's for sure, PUBG it doesn't sleep in 2026 is the best way to describe it, Martin. I mean, there was Master Series going on this morning. There was PWS in South Korea going on this morning, which I was watching as well and watching some crazy stuff go down. But here's some numbers of Mogo going up against Satta from No Slack. And I'm very impressed that if we see, Martin, another fantastic Finnish roster finally rise on up, I'm not going to complain.
That would be great. I mean, we already have Correctly firing at all cylinders, but we need some to join him, right? We need to see some performance coming in from some of the Finnish guys. So it's good to see No Slack coming in here. Sapta, some of the guys. Kovalevi, obviously a legend in the scene. Only 20 years old, 28 years old. And
such a young man.
Yeah, and at this point, for me, he's he's still got some years in him. If you can couple the brain of an analyst with the data that he has available, then coupled also with he's actually still a great player, I can see great things with him coming.
All right, well, thank you very much. We will let Blank join us after this game. It's me and Martin going to be bringing you Tago here to figure out how it's all going to go down. We have a decent playing path for all of these teams to get situated and good to go for game number 3.
Yeah, but it's also an easy plane here to go all the way over down to Yang here, James. And yeah, for Tago to start things off with, this game could solidify 3 to 5 teams in that top 8. We have had an insane amount of performance here coming from the teams. The Hive here looking good, especially if we have, I'm just saying, we're starting Northwest. It could be a Northwest circle. A lot of teams are up there. It kind of feels like one already. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's see, indeed. Twisted Minds going to be moving over to their usual split. Looks like X-Howl's kind of sat around that terminal position. So, I mean, normally for the usual split of Twisted Minds, any potential threat would be coming from terminal to start things off. But I don't know if X-Howl wants to be rumbling with Twisted Minds just yet. Who've, again, not had the easiest of starts here to this tournament. They had a brilliant game 1, obviously. But that south side was a toughie. But that's a south side circle.
That's a circle that almost no one has except for this. Is actually in a good spot to take some high prior here. So let's see what happens. Yeah. Also, Wildcats could also get some stuff in here. But yeah, good to see Noselag. Good to see these guys coming in and doing great things. Obviously, we saw Scav last year. We saw him throughout some of the rosters, right? We've had some big expectations with him. Kovalevi, obviously a legend, FaZe Clan analyst for a few years. And then he had some hiatus hanging out in Thailand, helping out some of the teams in the Southeast Asia region. So that's cool. But yeah, now back playing. That's awesome. I love that. I hope they do well. I hope they go through. And I would say if you have after 2 games, James, 25 points, 31, 32 is your safe spot for top 8, you are chilling. Damn, that's awesome to see for them to join into the grand finals, obviously.
That's how you know somebody's got real passion for the game, right? Because Kovalevi has been a name in the background for so long.
Right.
And we didn't really get to see him on like PEC stages and things like that. But he was like, I guess he was like, you know what, screw it. I'm coming back to play. This is going to be great fun.
So coming in here, Nixie Hive. Oh, this is a big one to take down early on here. We were talking about, is Hive safe yet? We would think so with 29, but not if they go out like this. It was 0 points in a couple of games, but VP coming in and they're thinking we just need 1 or 2 pretty big games and we're actually into the top 8. It's all to fight for still, James. And a best of 5. We've had it already in PGS here and we've had it throughout the year so far. What is your thoughts kind of in this? Do you think it's a lot of pressure on for the teams or is it just like this kind of grind set that's coming in for the teams? It feels like it's a little bit more difficult compared to what we had for the prior years.
Yeah, it's huge pressure, I feel. Like, I mean, the thing is that, well, okay, when we had like group stages in PEC and even go towards finals, everything was quite the elongated format compared to what we have now. It's such mad sprints that you're going to have to somehow prevail on. And in a region like ours, where I'll say it, exactly the same thing I said before, our region is the most deep when it comes to skill. In 5 games, man, anything could happen.
Yeah.
I think the teams are relishing the idea of getting to the finals and being like, please get me to the final. Please, by hook or by crook, at least there we can show across longer portions of games that we're the best.
Yeah, if you told me this was going to be the top 3 after 2 games, I was going to be like, no way, that's not happening. Yeah. Like, we're going to see a VP up there, we're going to see Navi up there, we're going to see a Twisted Minds up there. They're close, but still not the top 3. That's insane. So, obviously, awesome to see still, again, only playoffs. It's not the finals, but still, there's PTS points going on here. As we see, Hive eliminated in the 16th here, James. We're talking about it. 3 back-to-back 0-point games could be huge for them, but this means that there's some other teams that's going to be getting the big points in this game.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, right? I think Virtus Pro obviously challenging for the vehicles that they were. It made a lot of sense that coming in from GoDoc that maybe Hive would lose 1 or 2 if they also wanted to challenge for those. But then going to this bridge when they did feels like a very bold move, like as early as it potentially is in this game. And, you know, TMO just being set up here, ready to go on what is effectively a bridge camp just on the prio side of where they're going to be coming in. This was easy for clean up for the lobby against Hive. Very easy.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. S2G coming in from this position is obviously massive, but yeah, let's see if they're able to get deeper than this here. Very open on this kind of western side of the map. It's very congregated towards the center now, somewhat just vertical line straight down from the middle. A lot of space in the open compound. And actually, I see a lot of teams kind of taking these compounds, especially we saw in PGS, it was taken early. But now I think a lot of teams, they kind of realize, like, if you take this early on, it's going to be crashed. And it's just like a full four-way split between the north, between the east and the west and the south side. And it's so easy to crash with all these walls, especially in 2026 here playing TVP. Like, it's so different. To lock this down is very, very difficult. I like this, though, from Ascent, locking down School here. They have a somewhat central position. We have a lot of water in play in the southern side, so doesn't make sense just yet to commit to something big. And here they can actually get tons of information from TMO, though. Another great team. Good to see these guys coming in. Vitality and Levante, a dangerous player to put on some 3 gear here, James.
What was surprising me more than the top 3 actually is the fact that Vitality has 0 points in 2 games. Like, I have high hopes, high aspirations for Vitality throughout this year for 2026, and of course this org does too, right? Like, we kind of alluded to it and we're very direct with it during PGS. It's very clear. Vitality wants a team to try and make to EWC. They want points on the board. They want to beat Falcons at the Esports World Cup. Never mind be successful in PUBG. So hopefully the guys can get back on the bike, get themselves a rolling down the hill. Oi! Oi! Boink.
That's huge. That's Diffix down. That's a big player to take down. CC Inex, though, under tons of pressure here. 17 HP. He's going to go for the flush. He's going to go to get in here. He actually catches him. They might be able to get Diffix up and save here. Let's see what SG does in this one here. That's a mayday I've ever seen one here. Coming in quick. Coming in with a lot of damage. Already half HP. Melman finds CC Inex here. Is SG going to commit to this one here? Or is Diffix actually going to survive this one, James? I'm a little bit questioning this one here. On the other side, Jogo Benito and Kristalny trying to get some shots towards Slack here. No, Slack is not slacking for this one, that's for sure. They are, I think, coming in hard.
I think both teams are quite concerned about the potential of a rotate in from the north, for like Nemesis as well as S2G. So I think they're a bit cautious about how much they want to take this fight. Quepa and Schiller were repositioning themselves, and it looks like they're going to disengage from it, knowing that there's the potential that somebody could quite easily come in third party. But also where Nemesis was, with the potential for them to be able to pick up Diffx much easier than them be able to get their blue chip out. Then, yeah, they kind of had the upper hand in it for sure, right?
Yep, for sure. Sitting here trying to engage on to Nemesis here. Not really the angle I would go for if I was in this spot here. Again, they have pretty high prio from where they are currently, James. And yeah, sending it out a little bit. Obviously, School is under the red zone, but still, I would be hiding and waiting a little bit inside School. Don't lose cars, don't lose armor. You have a great spot to lock things down, and maybe if this next circle locks in down on the southern side to School, they could have a great game. I don't want to see them lose any players. Survivability is so important. Having 4 alive towards the late game is so impactful compared to being 2 or 3 if you want to win games.
And if it wasn't for what happened at the beginning of this Hive game, right, that's what I would say that they're normally very good at. Keeping 4 alive into the later stages of the games and just being able to somehow work with it for there. We saw some magic from them, honestly, when it came to the Masters at the end of 2025. Somehow able to thread the needle with 4 alive was Hive in a lot of scenarios. And again, I think that they've just leveled up with having Mogo in 2026, but not the best starts for them here in Game 3. As for now, we're just waiting for all of these teams to slowly come in from the north. 3 big names, Soul, Virtus Pro, as well as Twisted Minds, trying to find themselves a spot up in the north of this circle.
Circle closing just shortly, and I'm kind of guessing myself here with Bushido Wildcats with this 2-2 split here. They could be having a great game. They're locking down some of the 2 highest prior position with this one. Twisted Minds moving in slowly. Virtus Pro moving in slowly here. They're also like, okay, we don't have a higher prio. We don't know where the circle going with this much water. We're not going to commit too much just yet. We're just going to get info. Just going to try to get a little bit deeper, step by step here. And yeah, it might be a slow start for VP, but these guys have huge impact once they got the ball rolling here.
Well, this game's a slow start for everyone, isn't it, really? Apart from Hive being torn apart and then a few fights here and there on the west. But our circle is about to close. Where are we going to go? As already, actually, you see, as Ascend moved out of School preemptively a little bit here, a pre-drive, and looks like they're going to turn the right on back to School. So listening to T-Bone's comms and Ascend's comms throughout the scrims and stuff like that, they're all about the pre-drives. As should a lot of teams be, right? It is the best way to try and get you to where you need to be, and be totally okay with going back if you need to, having that one anchor player still there just in case.
Yeah, and they didn't get punished for it either. Now, on the other side, we were talking about this compound always being crashing. Now, construction workers coming in, TMO also coming in here. He's going to come out on top for this one here. Justice finds Fex immediately. He's knocked. That's a big player to come in. The Welsh Dragon himself, now Pixelic and the guys needs to try to revert this. Oh, bad as well. Half HP, James.
I think exactly what you said means that there's some urgency about taking this fight, right? Because a lot of teams might be eyeing this up. Like Seoul, for example, might be eyeing this up. We've seen like 3 or 4 teams co-inhabit this compound, knowing that you can get away with it for a long, long time here. So the Mythov currently trying to dislodge them as quickly as possible. Smokes go down, but construction workers is dug in like a tick at the moment. Hitman's gone. And for the rest of the Mythov, I don't know. You're going to need a lot of nades. And you can't even necessarily throw them right at the windows. That's a perfect one, though, but it doesn't do enough damage. He's able to get a bit of cover.
Good, come on, cover. Also disengage to fight a little bit here for Naleb. Tries to get into the other spot. It might be daytime here, but the fog is heavy on this compound. Smokes everywhere. Justice trying to get a little bit more information from now on this with the guys on the same side of the road here. Pixelic with a shotgun. It's going to be a little bit different with the engagement here. Levante takes down no slack. Absolutely destroyed here. Vitality starting to level up just a little bit. Points on the board for them here. One big one could be huge. Smoking up inside. I like this for them.
Okay.
That's a good engagement here, James.
Yeah, you can't give Levante a FAMAS. That's illegal. Because look what he'll be able to do with it. But yeah, more smokes. More attempts at trying to be able to either slow them down or continue to put the boot in. That's double blue zone, but it's not really covering much of the building. So what they're trying to do is push them into other locations in that building and then nading it out, which is a smart move, but nothing's connected here for the Mythov. They're wasting a lot of util here to try and make, unfortunately, nothing happen.
I'd love to see these blue zones either go in the roof or in the middle, obviously coming inside the house here. It's always hard to, in these kind of longer houses, to get multiple of it kind of locked in. But yeah, the construction workers are able to survive quite easily. Now with the red zone coming out on that side here, the disengage might be happening just a little bit sooner than we expected here, James. TMO getting off of it, popping all the tires. And now, yeah, just taking the advantage of this, that they locked them down. And Pixelic trying to get in and get some information here. With all your utilities been spent already here, James, it might not be worth committing further.
I think if this compound stays in for more circles, I think it's inevitable that Seoul has something to say about it later on down the line. But we'll see, as construction workers still waiting on out. Obviously, Pixelic, the one that was joining on this team here, with Gustav being absent. And a good pickup overall. I mean, Pixel, he loves the game. He does. He loves it. Did you see him dressed up as his construction worker on his socials?
That's great. I love it.
He's a funny one.
I was actually a little bit sad to see him step back a little bit here. But now with him in, he's a TPP specialist. And with this circle here, they're going to be inside this next one and fighting a little bit more with TMO. Meanwhile, on the other side here of Sangam, we're going to see, oh my God, Lou taking down Quizzy. Clearing this one out here. They're going to be fine as well. On this southern side here, they actually have quite a lot of space to go ahead for this one here. And also, if they want to get the rest of the team in. Oh my goodness. Hello?
Well, okay. Well, we came a little 1 second too late to the party, I think.
You know, it's like strike a pose stance and you're dead. And they're out. Yeah, it's Na'Vi being wiped out here. 10 points so far, James, in 3 games. Is this the Na'Vi that we know and love? I don't feel like it just yet.
No, not yet. I mean, it's funny as well when we look at the overview of what actually just happened there, where they died, where the vehicles are. Okay, they tried to crash, it didn't work. That's pretty much the tail of the tape for that one. Virtus Pro. Okay, you guys have a BRDM coming in from the north side. There's a world where you could do something with this, as Lucaris is going to use it to scout on forwards. I think you're right, though, about Na'Vi, but again, it's so hard to tell from 2.5 games, 3 games. Like, two smaller sample sizes is what I kept saying during PGS. Like it's hard.
And then the day's over.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough.
Yeah, it is. It is. Best of 5 here is a different beast, and you gotta approach it differently. I'll say this though: once we've seen VP, once we've seen these guys have a BRDM, they usually have a very, very deep late game. So for the VP fans out there, I think they might be able to grab into the at least into the double digits. How deep they can get into the top 8 for this game here, and we'll have to see here. Twisted Minds though, full 4-man squad coming in from Songam. A lot of information is able to be shared here from Betulins, from the glider. And let's see the direction that they're kind of ending up going to here, James, because they actually control the vast majority of the southeast side.
What's funny about that is that's one of the latest glider pickups I've seen in so long, like from Betulin. So he's very okay with the idea of like, okay, I'm going to go out, I'm going to get this much later to the game than usual. Still have it available to me and try and scout forwards. I mean, it's either that or you try for an emergency pickup, send one up, but even then you're kind of slow coming down, so you'd be way more vulnerable than a glider.
Right.
So it's good here for Betulins, but I mean, unless they get a hard shift, there's going to need to be some moves going on here from Twisted Minds. And as you say, he's gaining some valuable information heading forwards.
There's a parallel timeline between the glider and the e-pickup, how late you can use it. But we have to swap over to construction workers and TMO with this one. Pixelic finds Justus. Nice. And now Micah with a big one here finds Pixelic. Vard does get the confirmation on Justus here now. Neil has to run through. He's on fire though. He can only... Oh my god, Micah so well executed here with the Molotov being down. Vard is just 8 HP here. Can he make something happen?
It's a good question. He's been the clutch master in the past as Vard for be it FaZe before and now be construction workers now. He is phenomenal. But will he be able to do something against 3-man at the moment for the Myth-Off? Coach tries to go around flashing himself. Trying to be kind of cheeky with it, but realizes now that Vard has gone on for another angle here, gone into the interior of this building. Where's the rest of the Myth-Off? Hitman's coming down, and Vard actually does take down Mika. As I say, clutch factor control.
Well, it's just a different beast here. And now Soul comes in.
Soul.
You can see it. Hitman actually coming in too from the backside of the parachute. But this is rough, man. With Soul just coming in to clean this up. Bart's just going to be dead. Phil first finds him. Construction workers and TMO in a mutual destruction situation here. Hitman coming in with this one, obviously, with the pickup here. And he's going to get a helmet, no vest, and a gun with 15 bullets. Yeah, he's going to try, but it's not going to be a lot.
This was like, you know, when you see like the nature documentaries of whales kind of spinning around fish for a while to boil them all up and then eat them.
Right.
That was what Soul was doing on that compound.
Yep.
They were just waiting, salivating over the idea of being able to hit that. And eventually they did get in for the cleanup here. Not too many kills available to them. We're not obviously doing that, but you want to do it as cleanly as possible. And obviously they took no knocks, took no casualties, and are now trying to shoot down Ares, who's deep in the blue, whilst they were coming in to clean up the compound.
I'm trying to see if we can get the explosion here. Maybe the timing is good unless he crawled away from the car here, but let's see. No, it's not enough. But, the cover. Oh, it flipped in the wrong way. Oh, he hit him. He actually got him. That's the good point shot. Coming in from Medusi here. Now, Jogo Benito in a big fight with Bushido Wildcats here, losing multiple players here. Slaven trying to survive this one. It's a 2 versus 2 effectively between Code Marker and Crossberg and Jogo Benito. And you're just, sitting in a barrel at this point here, James. It's rough to defend for this, but let's see if Simon and Slaven can do something. Good nade, 37 damage done.
Yeah, it's like the suburbs of Songam, and it does actually see quite a lot of fights going down towards the later stages of this. Okay, so there's no opening on the position that he actually ran on past here, as Co-Marker will be able to get out of dodge here for the moment. Jogo Benito not been too aggressive on this one, but they do have 13 points. And as we mentioned here, it is just top 8 cutoff. Top 8 and you're through. So you don't necessarily have to be blasting out of control to be kind of all the way up to the top here to be able to make something happen across these 5 games. And currently, Jogo Benito is doing enough. We'll see if they can continue that on.
Yeah, we will indeed. There's a continued in sentiment, though. 16 PGS points for first and 8 for 8th place here. So you gotta make sure you get as deep as you can. But sure, Grand Finals is the main goal for the majority here. A P90 and full 3 gear for Perfectus. That is scary for S2G here. Can he do something? That's a great nade. Does 37 damage. Can he continue this one? As we go over to Bushido Wildcats here. Twitch might continue with the utility here, James. Can they get an opening onto S2G here? They're trying to lock them out on the southern side here. Trying to get control of this. And a perfect circle to continue this fight here without having to disengage for the circle.
That's a good nade against Practice, but it actually does bounce exactly on him. Yeah, if I was S2G, I would be quaking in my boots. Earlier on in the game, they lost CCNX, of course. A 3v4 would be deadly here for them, especially with Perfectix laying in wait. He is just waiting for them to pop their heads over, and that P90 gets straight into their faces, but looks like Betulin's going to reposition once again here to try and get a little bit more information behind them, just to make sure that they're not going to be backfilled on.
And the scary part is that Perfectus doesn't have a big amount of cover already. Oh, would I love to see those Dorito fall onto SDG and just roll them over. That would have been fun. But now the engagement comes a little bit of a great stun grenade here. Multiple smokes open up as well. Nate's coming into the corner here. Kretko's going to be down. Example. And now the sweep from Perfectix on the other side here is going to come in and confirm this one. Lou actually gets it. Now he swings in, reloads, and tries to go for another one here. Perfectix can see multiple of the guys, but doesn't really open just yet. He's waiting for the other guys to come in on the left side. Utility being committed again here. That's a great nade on it. 58 damage done.
Perfectix moving around the right-hand side against them as well here with the P90, trying to do something where he can, but Baron actually beats him out with the AUG. Perfectix down. It almost looked like a brilliant SWAT team maneuver coming in from Twisted Minds, and they do finish off S2G here, and they need to get on Perfectix as fast as possible so they can be 4 alive. Looks like the smoke goes down, and they do get this res off. It almost looked a bit dicey there for Twisted Minds, but they do execute here and get everybody up.
Okay, that's actually huge for them. The circle on the southern side, and Killer Kai doesn't make it out to get an impact on it. So Twisted Minds being 4 alive with the control that they're going to have here. This looks like a Twisted Minds qualification to the top 8 here, but they will continue their campaign for this one here. Nodi, though, gets down Crossberg. Simon goes down as well. This comes in and Tabibi opening up in the mini.
Yeah, VP going really kind of aggressive on this one, making sure that they can actually leapfrog ahead forwards here. Unfortunately for Kirexi, he's down to the explosion of his own vehicle. More nades will go forwards, trying to get rid of Exhal across the way from them. Does it bounce? Actually, I mean, they hit the shots anyway. It doesn't matter. It's all on Odin here to try and do something about this. He's on the other side, though. He's far more concerned with the fact that Soul is about to bombard him.
That's a great nade here. Tons of damage done here. Is more being committed? No, not just yet here. Soul needs to have this fight on the western side here. They need to engage onto Ascend. They're going to do that instead. Maybe they're thinking a quick kill could open up the door here. Adusi goes down too, and Bushido Wildcats actually eliminated.
This is very bold by Soul to try and make this work, and Keta actually does greet Aduzi straight away as they're trying to crash on forwards for this. Moldok's down as well. I think there's only one left here for Soul really to try and make something work with it all and said and done. Might just be Phil first once again, but Molodok's here with a nade actually knocks Phil first. It's all gone right here for Soul. Oh no.
He dropped the nade after he got knocked, and it confirmed himself, knocked a teammate and exploded a car, and Soul's out sadly. I actually love the campaign that they had throughout this one here. Eudon Mavesi managed to survive to 6th place here. That's huge for Exhal, but 3 gear outside the zone. He's going to have a hard time getting into this next one here.
This capitalizing on the Songam suburbs. I've kind of going for all of this. Still have a little bit of a compound available to them just north of Songam at the moment.
That's their qualification, James.
Yeah,
it looks like
absolutely.
Right. dead center, uncontested, all 4 alive. But we'll see what Twisted Minds has to say about that. If they engage on the southern side, crash into that, what's going to be happening?
Yeah, that's exactly the thing that I was thinking, right? There is a world where I think that this might get a little bit overzealous with this split and might get crunched down, and we'll see. Looks like actually they're already moving back to try and reinforce their own position here. So giving up a little bit of that road side, I think, is a mature decision from this, while these teams are scrapping on the northern side, as Odin is trying to do something about Virtus Pro, but it's not working out.
A lot of damage done here already. Now they're just looking at trying to get eliminated quickly here. Beamies taking down Odin, and Exhal is out in 6th place here. That means that VP 4 guys strong on the northern side, and now with the fight ahead of them, it's going to be Ascend, but 3 kills for Nixie, 4 overall here for VP. It's a big game for them. They did indeed jump into the double digits. Let's see how deep they can go, though. This campaign for them and how far they can take it relies on the fight that they're going to have with Ascent just shortly. But they are 4 guys strong. They've been having inside school. And there's a lot of loot inside school, so they have plenty of nades, plenty of utility. Nixie has a dangerous rock to sit on here, though. That could be the first opening knock onto it's Chris here. Some damage done.
Trying for something, pop some tires as well, trying to limit any potential movement coming in here from Ascend. It's an interesting one from Ascend's POV, because I feel like they kind of had the choice of where they want to go, and they've been in school for the majority of this game. Being able to try and do something about the teams that lie ahead of them is difficult. You've got Virtus Pro, you've got Twisted Minds with Perfectix that has a Lynx as well. Have they just given the entire armory to Perfectix? What is going on?
He's just got a Lynx, he's just got a P90. He's like, no, this man's not stopped. Yeah, you might have not have gone to PGS, but here's all the loot. Go absolutely ham here. And now with this one here, it is a home turf circle for Ascent, but yeah, coming in and coming out from this western side here, you don't have much control. You don't have a lot of cover. I think they're under, I mean, tons of pressure, at least so far. Back to a mini as well, shooting with the Lynx, then back to the mini. tons of pressure onto this one. The Nodi actually takes down correctly. Lots of damage done to BP here.
Yeah, Nate goes forwards as well. Yoga Benito trying to be able to be dislodged as well as Virtus Pro is just rolling in against this. They actually do quite a bit of damage to Virtus Pro. Good stuff by Yoga Benito to try and deal with it. But this is pushing on out to try and greet this as well. Simon replies,
Surprise!
Oh no, here comes the BRDM. Lucarux, get away from us.
There's 2 free points here. Lucarux wants it. No. He wants to get one. And then see, can he get the other one too? Drive back. Oh, can he get that too? That's going to be an easy one. There's one more point here to have from Nodi, and that's going to be fun. Look at this, he's going to try to explode him up, but not.
Anger.
Can Lucarux get another point here? It's also the clutch. You have to remember, 1 point for placement, 1 point for the kill too. With an 8 in hand here, Nodi. That's, oh my god, he's just going to jump in. Super well executed here by Nodi, actually jumping in. Oh my god, Lucarux takes him down.
Lovely.
Jogo Benito out in 4th place, and VP gets the top 4.
Got some salvage points from Lucarux. Good stuff here. But having a BRDM, it makes it a little bit easier to make that work. As Twisted Mind on this west side, still on the warpath. This Habibi is going to be shooting some shots against them. No!
There's no way.
Lucarux
Gets another one. There's another knock inside. Oh, a Molotov. Oh my god. Oh, he's going to get so much damage done. If he's
feeling it.
If he's feeling this one here, he could take on a total domination onto Twisted Minds, but it's Example he's up against. Example says no. He sees his feet under the back tire and actually gets him out. Now this, though, we're talking about it. Can they hold it back? Can they lock this one down? And it's been everyone but themselves that have been doing all the impact and all the damage done here, James.
Surely this is free. Now, that being said, that's what I said for JDG when they were going up against Twisted Minds at PGS, and that did not quite go their way. Twisted Minds was able to come back from it. I think, though, this should have this one. They moved out at the right time to be able to put pressure on Twisted Minds, but they've let their foot off the pedal a little bit here to shut down what is the 700-time PEC PCS champions.
And 15 times MVP for across this entirety of this roster here. But yeah, locking this one down. And, you know, all the cup teams, these guys are home and they're like, we're back, boys. Welcome home. Let's see if we can lock this one down here. 13 kills, 3 more to be had here on Viz. 2 on the side of Twisted. But it's looking like a little bit difficult. Viz actually has a really good lockdown on multiple angles for this one here. Habibi taking down some smoke cover too, alongside the rock that he's sitting on. There's so much cover already for this here. And damage done to Batulins too.
Good shots by Pains to start things off. For Twisted Minds, they are fully aware and cognizant now of the fact that there is quite a few angles here from this. That said, 1-1-1-1 in terms of split. Although Habibi and Aaron have now actually rendezvoused together, so that makes it even harder. I guess a lot of focus will now be on trying to shut down Pains, because if you do shut down that off angle here, and they've done quite a good job of doing the damage there, that really could even up things against Vis's current position with Twisted Minds still out of the circle, so there's going to be some push on them soon.
I don't see them winning this one unless Example gets on the southern side, honestly. It's difficult. He has 1 stun grenade. It's not a lot of smoke cover here, but they get Pains down. Pains know exactly where he is. He has a 3 helmet, though. Damage has not been done just yet. Oh, my God. Look at how much connection is done, though.
Yeah, the thing is that as soon as they he relayed information back, the Example had no cover and lying down in the open. He relayed that over to the 2 and was able to do tons of damage, just plus that nade as well. It's good execution here by Vis so far, knowing that he was completely exposed. And you might be the greatest IGL of all time, Batulins, but I don't think your knowledge, your execution, your know-how, your willpower is going to be able to get you out of this one.
They're just trying to see if he's going to deny, but there's no way he's doing that. The angles are big. Let's see if he can get this locked down with a scissor move. Pains has 1 angle. And, yeah, it's going to be... can he get another point out of this, or is it just a full deny here, James? I don't really see if there's a point. And does he know the angle on the left side? Does he know that Artun is there? I'm not sure.
And they know at this point, with 13 kills in this game, they're qualified, right? GG. So that's going to be the GG here for Twisted Minds. They're gone. This with a very important win for them in game number 3 from the compound. The game kind of came their way in the end. It's not a big win, but it is a win nonetheless, Avenger.
It is, and they're able to lock this down. Obviously, being early on in Songam, the home turf circle for them paid off. Huge. But what an impact Twisted Minds had. Once they turned on 13 kills for them. and the impact that they had here. Even though that they had to clear out Song Am with Chrissy and how late they were, and the glider play that they had throughout, they actually managed to step up big here. Also, Virtus Pro, huge clutch from Rookarooks. I'm not sure how many total points he was actually able to get from driving over multiple guys and also surviving for that deep. I think he got a 3rd place plus the kills you were able to get for both Twisted Minds and some of the other teams.
Yeah, of course, as we do have Blank joining back here to talk about everything that was going on from this. And I think when you look at how it went down here on Tago, how all of these fights were going down, initially a bit of slow rolling ultimately, but they were able to persevere with this when all the battles were going on elsewhere. They were sitting low, sitting steady.
Yeah, it was pretty explosive towards the end, and then Viz sort of just waits things out. But you could tell they were giving a huge amount of respect to these teams. Huge amount of respect to these teams, honestly, on the other side, from Viz to Twisted Minds, which overall is a really, really, really big deal. And again, for Twisted Minds, the fact they were almost able to kind of live this one out was sort of insane. And Perfectix also juggling 8 guns. It was a wild, wild situation.
I love that visual. He's just like, oh yeah, I'm back, guys. He's just throwing them up in the air while shooting them like a circus trick.
3
but
tactical backpacks.
It results in 19 points going the boys' way for Twisted Minds, who, after that first game Avenger, it felt like a joy to have Perfectix back on board, because we just hadn't had regional play. We'd not seen him in PPMI, we'd not seen him in PGSs. So yeah, it's great to see them back as full 4-man.
Yeah, I love the instant impact from day one that we have from Perfectix again here. And obviously, juggling all the guns, but you know, it's probably going to be him on the very top once we look at the rivals, once you look at the overall impact we have throughout this one here. But 33 points, that means that Twisted Minds is guaranteed top 8 here. There's no way that they're going to be taken over here by 8 other team. So that's massive for them. The question is, can they hold on to first place? The 16 PGS points that's actually given out on this one here could be massive, all the way down to 8th. It could be the tiebreaker. It could be the last couple of points you need to go through once we are calculating all the PGS points that's been going through these next 4 weeks.
I think one thing guaranteed, though, is I think Nemesis, I think Hive, to a lesser degree, I think No Slack, if they don't let their foot off the pedal as well here, Blank, I think that these 3 teams should be able to be making it through already into that final. And it's great to see the competition coming in from those cups looking as strong and as well-versed as they do. They look warm. They look warm into the game.
Yeah, they do. I mean, it is kind of sad to see Hive at the beginning of that game just fall flat on their faces. But regardless of that, the other games that they've played today have been fairly good. I think for No Slack, again, that clutch factor I was talking about of how well they can play under pressure really comes into play on the Miramar that we saw there. And again, I think that that's really, really nice to see. Like you say, though, you don't want to see them take their foot off the gas, right?
No,
you want to see them just continue pumping those points, continue having those late game performances. I mean, they don't need to be going for a first, second, or third. 4th place with some kills is absolutely fine. It is great to see, though, Twisted Minds doing insanely well up towards that top side. And I think Avenger bringing up the point of the PGS points is a very, very big thing to bring up here, because for them, we will likely see them at more of those, right? So those points are super important to them overall.
Yeah, PGS points are distributed, of course, when you go at PGS. There we have the PGC points, right, to be able to kind of get you up the tally overall. No, Martin did the wrong acronym in the game as well. So it's we've had to listen to God knows how much in terms of acronyms, left, right, and center. Everything starts with P. But anyway, I think that one thing that is fair to say is that seeing the fact that, as you say, it's Example and Perfectix just starting off on a blinder is just terrifying, because like, is there anybody, Martin, that is going to be able to challenge Twisted Minds in PEC? That's the ever-daunting question that is here year on year on year, and it almost never happens.
It's a bigger surprise that someone else wins PEC than Twisted Minds wins it. Like, there's 15 other teams in the finals, but it's a bigger surprise that someone else wins than they do, right? So that's the big one for me. But yeah, I'll say this, though. Twisted Minds coming in, and they have something to prove. You have to remember as well the grand finals of PGS 3, the last one we had, obviously. They got second last place. Like, they were in the bin directly. And now they're back to prove that, they need the points. They need the PGC points to go to PGS, to go to Esports World Cup. No, they're not. They don't need it because they're the Esports World Cup defending champions. So if they get top 2 here, it's actually third place that goes. And also depending on what happens in PGS, we might have more teams coming through. So, but still, PGC points is important. That's your way to PGS. That's your way to PGC at the end of the year. So that's obviously massive.
No, for sure. I will say as well, we can actually check in with Ascend from that game, of course, who had, again, pick a litter in terms of where they were kind of going, considering it was kind of a home turf circle for them, but they weren't able to convert as much. Let's check in on those comms here and see what was going on for Ascend.
The Uzi is also driving.
Headshot one there. One's 1 HP on the wall, vaulting in. Revival. One guy in green wall, 1 HP.
Where for the shoot?
Here, just put it south of me here, so I can play here.
Knock on blue.
Push.
Nice.
Just
Blue. Nice try.
Gosh, imagine if Keter had come around that corner with that Panzerfaust and been able to do damage against Twisted Mind. That could have changed the complexion of those fights that were going down in those moments there, Avenger, but not to be the case here for Ascend. They've still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, they got some work to do. 641 damage though from Keter. He did have some impact here, but yeah, not a lot of kills to come through, James, and that's what I'm really worried about. Again, somewhat of a home turf circle for them. It ended in between Songam and it ended in between school. But you have to lock down school. With this circle that you see here, they have the roof, they have the high ground. The amount of points they're able to get, especially here from both Seoul and everything, but they were just not out and close enough into the fight and the impact that they're able to have here. And also being engaged from multiple directions. VP coming in from that side with also Viz coming in from the other side, being backstabbed from Twisted Minds. That really laid the groundwork of them not getting a lot of points. And also Lou getting Killikai from this one here. That's what was really the rough start in this.
Yeah. Going up against Twisted Minds, it's going to be able to push on you after something like that.
Boom.
And did, of course, connect there with Perfectix being able to shut it down. But if Lou was just a little bit further over and you get 2, suddenly things might have changed. But I mean, the nades finishing them off here, Blank, as well. It's always tough for Ascend. You're basically running into the gods of PUBG in Twisted Minds.
Yeah, can I just say though, that Panzerfaust kill that he gets is like the aftermath of an episode of Grey's Anatomy. Like straight into the gut is insane. Yeah, that's rough stuff. But well played. I think you're right. For a lot of our teams, when you get towards these late games, especially on TPP, it's when you're not fast enough transitioning from that position. And again, it happens so much where it's so stressful holding down a position like that for such a long time, and then having that play in the back of your mind that we have to leave and we have to get further position into the game. But as long as you're picking up points, picking up kills, and getting something on the board, it's not the end of the world. And although I think we'd all agree that Ascend maybe could have got further into that game, I don't think it's a horrendous showing from them.
No, I think so. Well, it's the stress isn't going to end there, Blank, because we got 2 more games remaining, and those 2 games will determine who is moving through into that finals already. So we're going for a break. When we return, the penultimate game of day number 1 for PEC is on the other side of this.
Port Desire, a city that don't belong to anyone, but everyone wants a piece. No laws, no oversight, just the jungle creeping back in, both the vines and the people. The mayor stepped in where the government couldn't, said the city needed order, and they'd be the ones to bring it, keeping the peace on their terms. I walked away from it all. Kept my hands in dirt instead of blood. But desire is a fickle mistress. The city won't let me go. It won't forget my name. I asked for nothing, and they still came and took everything. The mayors and anyone that stands in my way, every last one of them. they're gonna learn something real simple. You reap what you sow.
Oh, 2 guys on the smoke. Yellow. Look yellow.
Running back towards nipple.
1 HP. Knocked.
Nice, that's it.
Oh, I see him.
Run to the car. Let's shoot together. Fuck, he's proning again.
I'm netting.
One on rock. I'm holding rock.
I'm
Rock headshot. I'm driving at rock.
He's banned. That's out. Going banned. That's out. Let's put left side, guys.
I'm stopping in front of me. And it's only smoking, okay?
Should be a solo guy somewhere. It's solo guy in front of me in the smoke. I'm driving on him.
I mean, they're probably 2 man.
Knock.
I'm gonna be safe.
One more knock.
I'm gonna try to rest Luca.
Maybe reasonable. I may be reasonable. No, he's pushing you guys.
Push it from north.
Bro, we need to get the yellow, guys.
Inside
Nice.
yellow. You can rest me. Care of yellow line. There's a guy in the open there. You can smoke to me.
2 upward. 1 up.
Shot him low. You got knocked. They're dead.
I'm taking a smoke first.
Fuck, try to loot first aid facts. I don't know. So many bodies I think around me. I mean pixel.
Yeah, comes
Both outside, fuck. Both outside here. Outside like both of them. One more.
I'm getting so far though.
You see him, Nix? Just shoot outside. Shoot there. Outside, he's outside, Nix. No.
I'm blue zoning it 4 times. Come.
He's on that wall.
I'm blue zoning everything, chill.
Yeah, give me a second.
Nice.
Nice teammates on the fucking top.
One in between us, Chris.
Smoke me. Should be fine.
Leaving blue.
Right, they're all driving.
Knocked him.
Nice.
I'm driving.
Go straight
Above
down the
me?
road now. Come back down. No.
He's dropping already.
Keda, you're a fuck.
They knocked someone.
They're knocked. Did you rest?
No.
The 2 guys. 2 guys, no? Did rest?
It's the EP, I think.
Yeah.
Let's go to yellow, but we need to be careful of gun.
Knock on green if you guys can see that in the deep.
What do we do?
Gonna go yellow line, but we need to spread out and use smokes and so on.
Dead. So that's close. Same place. Down right. They did.
Don't waste it. Knock them. Oh, get the fuss. One up. The is also driving.
Headshot 1 there. One's 1 HP on the wall, vaulting in. Revival. One guy in green wall, 1 HP.
Where for the shoot?
Here, just put it south of me here, so I can play here.
Getting fucking 100 here, Nate. You got flush, one guy. I'm gonna blow you as here.
Oh no. I'm not sure I can answer that question. Let me think. Who's the most overrated player? Ooh, good question. State.
Most underrated player is I think Chris Tommy from Yoga Bonito team.
Lukarux as well.
Correct.
I don't know. I guess Quizzy.
Fairist.
Societ with Nemesis.
Habibi.
I would have to put two in here. I'd say Scav and I'd say Kedda in my team.
T-Bone.
Nice.
I'm gonna say Nodi from Yoga Bonito as well.
Oh, most overrated. Maybe Jims?
I actually don't know. I'm gonna say Boostic for now. Just because he doesn't have enough experience.
Say Boostic.
I guess Quizzy.
Stratos. From our team.
Well, welcome back to PEC. Of course, we had some interesting answers there, some crazy answers. But anyway, we have got 2 more games remaining, and would you look at that? It is not the usual names you will be seeing taking those victories so far. 1 Rondo and 1 Erangel will now determine who's going to be top 8 moving on forwards. But despite those wins, Nemesis getting a win in second, Hive getting a win, sorry, No Slack getting a win, and Vis getting a win, it's still Twisted Minds, Martin, at number 1. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, look at the 8 placement points, but 25 kills. Enough to be in 5th place on its own. Yeah, huge game from them. It's actually kind of crazy to see. But yeah, Vis on the other side, 8 kills only, but 14 placement points, leading the lobby here. Obviously with the win and the consistency that I've had so far. But yeah, it's looking good. But even for Team Vitality, guys, 1 big game, you're into top 8. Like, you're not, it's not done with just 2 more games to go.
No, I totally agree. With it being such a short run of it all blank, there's still everything to play for here. And for a team like Team Vitality, we saw pop-off moments from them on international stage at PGS as well. So even a team like them in 16th place could easily make this happen.
Yeah, I think that at this stage of the day, right, this is your big turnaround moment. After the breaks happened, you know, everyone's feeling a little bit more calm. Code Blue. It's a Code Blue.
Code Blue.
In the Grey's Anatomy Hospital. Right.
All right, so we've had...
Stop that. It's not about Grey's Anatomy. He's trying to convince us halfway through. There was an episode of Grey's Anatomy where they removed a shell from somebody's body. I'm like,
They
is
did.
there?
They did. Yeah, they did. It was a big deal. It was like one of the... Like, I'm sorry, carry on.
Sorry, how old are you when you watch Grey's Anatomy?
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got the
It's
code.
a good show, okay?
This is a better show. We've got the code down below. Now, you can only see half of that code. You need to go into social media and find the other half of the code and redeem yourself it. Put them together and get yourself some G-Coin on board as well. Martin,
Clink.
do you agree? What was that? What
That's
was
like the codes coming through. Ka-clink. That's a 300 G-coin right there. Ka-clink.
Oh, I thought it was like another Grey's Anatomy.
I thought it was another Grey's Anatomy thing as well.
Oh, the scalpels.
He
yeah,
loves Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
He loves
I
it.
love the Grey's Anatomy episode, but they're stitched together an abomination that's been exploded by a Panzerfaust.
all I had in my head, by the way,
I'm
when
losing
you
him.
said that-
I'm losing him.
Yes, you're definitely losing me at this point. All I had in my head when I was thinking about that is like, if you could create a Frankenstein of all the best components for like a PUBG player to come together, who would you do?
Questions.
Yeah, well,
You
we
could
should ask the players.
combine the arms and legs of one player. Who would it be?
The problem is that I was thinking about it, and then I started thinking about the answers. It was like, well, the brain of Batulins, the shooting and hands of Example. I don't know. I guess the legs of Perfecting. Basically,
The
Twisted
shooting.
Minds.
What part of the
know,
body's that?
all the really good fingers. And Perfectix has got loads of those, as he's got himself 9 kills. Alongside on the opposite side of this for Nemesis Avenger, So Said, who is in Nemesis, who actually also got some of the most underrated player from an old teammate.
Yeah, it's cool to see this comparison, but we also have to remember Example's on 10 kills, guys. Mogor's on 9 kills. It's cool to see Nemesis up here, but Twisted Minds are dominating this leaderboard. Holy.
Well, the game's starting. I'm glad we filled that with hard-hitting analysis.
Amazing stuff.
Blank, we'll see you after this one.
And the eyes of So Said.
Bye-bye.
Yes. No, stop that. Get away with you. It's time to rondo. We are getting going here, Martin, for game number 4. It's getting a bit urgent now for those teams on day number 1 to be able to make it through into the final.
Yeah, it's time to show up for this time here. And with this circle start, or this plane pass starting over here, I could see a Jadina ending circle. We had one of those in PGS, actually one of the first ones. But yeah, it's a little bit rough one for the rest of the teams. They need to get into the far south or the far north. You're going to have to grab cars or try to get out and get one of your all spots. Luckily, there's plenty of space to be taken here. Bushido Wildcats and S2G, though, are dangerously close to each other, James. What's happening with that?
Yes, they are. I figured maybe they'd be
Dan
challenging for... Okay, Dan Ching is going to be the challenge point. Let's see if they're going to be able to do anything about it. Tommy's on board. Uzi's on board. Vectors. I don't know about this one just yet. So we're working with very limited loot here for this fight so far.
Yeah, Code Margo is winning it so far with an UMP and a pump-action shotgun. Let's see if CCINX can close the fight onto him. Look at this. Oh, only a vest. No helmet on CCI. A little bit scary for this engagement so far, James.
Don't want to be coming around and getting that shotgun. It will rip you apart here. Code Marco, all too eager to be able to have that peek off against him. I think that when you look at how it works here from Dan Ching, there's kind of that high ground, low ground dynamic that S2G's more than happy to sit just on a little bit more of the high ground compared to the Bushido Wildcats. But the issue exists as well as Celtic technically has that roof that can actually overlook a little bit of it. There's just that building in the way slightly. You can see some shots coming in from him now, realizing that maybe something was open there, but nothing hit so far.
Yeah, and again, I mean, sure, the circle's on them here, but James, eventually, some team is going to rock up and they're going to third-party this fight or whatever remains of this after this one here. It's not really worth it in a best of 5 for a hot drop here. It's not really what I would be going for if I was in the team going for it at this point here. And S2G, actually 11 points, they're fine. Bushido, 17 points, they're fine. They just need a decent game, and they're actually staying in the top 8 here. But this could be mutually assured destruction, and I don't really like seeing that in a best of 5 for sure. But let's see what comes out of this one here. Schiller and the boys coming off some performance out of their PGS, but now taking on Bushido Wildcats. These guys know each other extremely well. If we see Turkey at a PNC, these guys are most likely going to be teammates. So, yeah, true. Let's see how this can rock this up here. But once we're done with this fight, James, I'm going to have to ask you a question. Who do you think is the most underrated player? I'm not going to ask overrated. That's dangerous. But underrated, we need to discuss once we have this hot drop done.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we're in a bit of a stalemate here. But the problem is, Avenger, with you asking me that question is I got asked that question that they might show on the video. So I don't want to say.
Okay, yeah. That's you might be wearing a shield, and that was a reflect or a deflect even.
They just never show it. Yeah, and I'm just like, I got away with that.
Yeah, that's well played, sir.
I did say a name.
That's good. That's good. Okay, yeah. Well, I'll be waiting a couple of weeks to see that when they announce that in week 4 finals.
Sure. And then you miss it, and you're like, oh no, where is it? You'll have to go through hours of VOD. But anyway, we all see as
no, there's no way he jumped into that. Oh my god, he actually hit him a little bit. Okay, you can tank that a little bit, and then he's not on fire anymore. Now half HP here for sure.
That was such a clown fiesta.
That was a little bit of a dangerous situation for Code Marco. He's 8 HP. Now he has to get a first hit from one of his teammates. And Crossbow was like, what's going on?
I think both parties were like, you know what, it would be better if both of us, if all people involved just stepped away and healed up after that.
All right, Jogo Bonito. Exhal actually only heard one guy. Yeah, Exhal actually only heard one guy here. So it was a 2-man in the car. They could have pulled up if they wanted to, but they were drive scouting and didn't want any of it. They thought, we're going to be early. We're going to be prior 1 or 2 on one of this compound here. So we're just going to take something different. Dan Ching hot drop though. It's a steal, and already look at how many sharks around in the water.
Yeah,
looking to capitalize on this one.
And as you said, right, like when it comes to teams moving in around them, sometimes what you will want to do in those kinds of hot drop scenarios is take to the roofs, right, and use that as a vantage point to be able to try and put on some pressure against your opponents in the same city. But You can't do that if teams are moving it around you. And then it makes it even slower. And then it makes it even sillier that you're just like, well, I guess we're stuck in Danching now. And I guess we're not moving now because there's teams all around us. So if you're going to end it, you needed to end it quick. And now it's just going to stale out. And for all the other teams involved, right? I mean, Virtus Pro beating Hongshan as early as they were. Obviously that's going to be their drop. They've got themselves a nice central spot. Just Yoga Benito moving in north of them. So I would be a little bit wary. See, it's on a roof. Oh, I'm scared.
Yeah, that could be too scary. Not sure if X-House is going to commit to that. I think they're just going to take where they are right in the circle. It's actually a very, very good spot for some late game here. Look at that, Odin. Medibay. Oh, no. Dangerous. We need a headshot or headshot upper body shot to get him down, though. But can he stand still for just long enough? Or could they do a 3-2-1 together? Let's see if they are.
That's usually Simon, the play, right?
Yeah, exactly. Simon finds Corexia on the other side. VP may be spreading out a little bit too much here, losing Corexia at this point here with the even before first circle closing. We want to see VP up there. We want to see them compete.
Not the best of starts for them. A lot of smokes go down to try and get towards that drop, but it's not going to be the case here. Looks like X-Howl did decide to take those shots. And not going to be successful. It seems like there was a lineup. The fact that the Maddest shooting and Odin was the one that was lining up the shots prior means that definitely was that opportunity. As we're in the 9th anniversary of PUBG, a little while before, and there's the director saying, you know what, thanks lads, thanks very much.
Promo code PUBG 9th. Let's go. That's not the promo code you're looking for, by the way. That's not code blue. That's not code green. You need to go to social media and take the code that you got from the broadcast here and then compare that up with the other blue and green codes that you see here.
Yeah. Do we get code red later on?
Maybe.
Do we get code Marco later on?
No, it's code Marco right now, that's for sure. With Bushido Wildcats and SG and Danching. Even if I actually kind of hope that the circle ends close to them, so there's just going to be a 20-minute stale fight. Oh, that's 4 damage, not enough. But Kristalny, most underrated player here, if you ask Lucarooks. I wonder why. Maybe because they're they live somewhat close to each other.
Ah, yes. And then did he say Noddy was the most over?
Yeah.
So well, he's got mixed feelings about Jogo Benito. Yeah. And I'm not too surprised considering they're knocking their players right now. As they've already lost Corexia, of course, to Jogo Benito. As I think that, technically speaking, I guess there was a world where Virtus Pro might have actually got that blue chip, considering that we're smokes down on Corexia, and then maybe eventually move away from that and try and go for that res. But they know that now, after this much time has elapsed, there's going to be a lot of teams still kind of sitting around them here for a circle like this. So maybe they're a bit more concerned about making any of those kinds of moves.
Yeah, I think so too. Now with this though, James, after this big game here for them, 22 points, a little bit more, and it feels like they could be safe. Unless we see, a big Ascent game, a big Navi game, a big VP game, anyone outside the top 8. These guys just needs to focus on that, needs to continue fragging and getting that consistency inside the placements here. But yeah, it's a difficult one here, especially on Rondo. A difficult game to do so here. Now Seoul on the other side, inside 7th place. I had bigger expectations to them, but still, we're not done yet. And I definitely think we're going to see them end up in the top 8 and go straight to the grand finals after day 1.
Yeah, I didn't know how to take this after watching them in the cups, because they got themselves a decent standing across 3 of the cups overall. They kind of just squeaked into this first day, like the bottom 2, to be able to get into this first day of gameplay as a whole.
Right.
And I think that there's definitely some potential there. Obviously, individually, there's some players that I'm not even that familiar with on our usual regional play. Obviously, we know Pains, etc. But I was curious to see how they were going to stack up. And so far, it's gone well. I think that compound previously did help them, of course. I think coming in from the edge on a circle like this late, might go against them. We'll see.
Yeah. We'll see how they fare. Remember, was it week 2 or 3 where they had a 3rd place overall that got them a lot of points. And yeah, for Danching, that's a great shift. We're going to see the stalemate going on a little bit longer in Danching, but Na'Vi taking more space, actually leaving a little bit of Toon Ling here. I'm actually a little bit surprised that they go up to the kind of northeast side of this one here. But yeah, Nemesis locking down center circle with Melman, of course, coming in. Slaven and Jogo Bonito here. Where's your sights? Where's your dots? Where's your holos? What's going on here, Slaven? You can't be double iron sighting the AUG and the M24. I want to see more. You have to call that to the guys and say, hey guys, I need a sight. I need a scope. Give me something. Put it in the car.
One thing that's very easy for us to take away from that is the fact that they've prioritized trying to get to what was the previous center over an elongated looting period, right? Because there's no way you will be leaving without that, unless you were looking for something else.
Yeah, exactly. And also, that's the first 10 seconds of my comms. If I don't find something, I need a scope. I need a red dot.
Please,
give me something. No, with S2G, they look like they're a little bit cornered here. They've disengaged quite a bit, James. Maybe because the circle is actually laying out as it is. Not Cold Marco with a nade here. That could actually connect quite well. Ooh. Double nade going on to Schiller here. Half HP. More damage done here. Actually with a great impact. Oh my god, almost got him down. Nade could get him down here, James.
Yeah, I think because he's going to be healing in that corner, so he's almost certainly going to be actually tanked. Oh, okay, so he's gone through the door and gone for a little bit of cover, so good job from Schiller. I thought he was on that corner. I didn't actually see him go through the door, but that's good in the end. That was so down to the wire. That was very close, and a bit of an oversight of exposure there from S2G, who, technically, you've made your opposing team spend quite a bit of utility for that and not get a knock, so I guess technically it's a good trade for S2G, technically.
Yeah, I'm sitting here with crossed fingers, crossed toes and everything for a Danjing ending. That'll be huge to see how everything intertwines with everyone being in and crashing into Danjing. It'll be fun, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Jogo Bonito taking a lot of space on that western side. A 1-1-1 way split for them. Soul actually locking down a lot of space. 2-2 split for them in the middle. That's also huge. Exhal here with the Odomavesi is going to get the revive coming in. And Na'Vi, we talked about this kind of northeastern split. It actually is somewhat of a greedy one. Having locked this 2-2 split down, they have the heaven on the northern side. We saw some fantastic games coming in from PGS where Boostic and the Bias are, so they know this area quite well. We need to see a northeast shift for this to be great for them, though. They might have to move later on. Now, construction workers, second last place, James, after dominating the cops here. Was it the gust of magic that's missing, or what's your take so far here after 3.5 games?
All I can really think back on is the compound fight on Tego. Other than that, so they got caught on the west side of that Erangel game, admittedly between a load of teams, so you're just going to get destroyed, just like everyone got destroyed. And then eventually they got kind of dismantled on that Tego compound. I can't take much away from it so far, unfortunately.
Sample size.
I think, yeah, they're better. They're a better team than that. It's just not worked out for them in these few, right?
Yeah, and with this northern shift, it's going to be a rough one for them too. They're going to have to make their way in, and Dan Cheng is looking like catching, if you ask me. Howl sitting dead center, James. This could be huge for them. Also, is Na'Vi going to stay in this 2-2 split? I hope not. Boostic's moving already. Favors could also be taking his car or being picked up by Boostic, hopefully. I don't want to see a greedy 2-2 split with this one, especially with how good the Hackatory compound is together with Spiro. If they get pulled up on, that's going to be difficult. Nemesis also looking good inside Toon Link, but it's also very, very crashable. Very easy to pull up on that side, on the southern side.
No, I completely agree. And at the same time for Na'Vi, I think for them, they're like, oh yeah, but the fairest compound that they're currently in, it's a really good compound, but obviously not for this circle, right? We've seen so many teams get so many good points from there, as you were saying before, but you've got to abandon it eventually. The other one is just too strong for a circle like this, surely, at this point in time, especially with how many teams are congregated south of you and also how many teams are in Dancheng. Jeez Louise.
Yeah, Kedar, great nade onto Fex. Actually gets him down. Fex knocked here, Kedar. The Danish prodigy coming in, and now it's going to be a pull-up from the rest of the guys. Now, look at this. TMO also with a big fight onto Viz here. For Viz, if they survive and get a few points from this, this could be huge. Killerkinds finds Pixel with the knock and the flush on Fex too. Just to down Habibi here. A great nade to confirm that one.
It's not going very well from construction workers at the moment, who's been caught between a rock and a hard place. Mythov doing quite a lot of damage. Also, Mortar's going to be raining in on this position as well now.
Oh my god.
I mean, both of these teams are just like, you know what, we can just chill for a moment. Oh no, VAR hasn't been completely finished as well.
God.
Oh.
Well, the amount of explosive actions going on, ordnance going on, explosive action we already see on this map here, kind of insane. Hitman actually finds Stratos though. Now we're down to Artun and Habibi. Can they hold this off as we see more Mortar coming in? Exhal, Flores as well. Soset just absolutely slamming down onto this angle here.
Oh, Soset! Oh, it never ends. It never ends. This is actually a true red zone created by the players at the moment. And the problem is for a lot of these teams that actually have taken this, like, trench, is that a lot of teams know the distances from their compounds to this trench because it's such a synonymous spot to be able to kind of scramble for those points and take later on down the line. It never ends.
Oh my god. Super well executed by TMO, and they needed this. This puts them into double digits here, but do they have more mortars? Are we going to see more ordnance coming in from the other side, especially from Exhal alongside with Soset? Now, next circle's about to pop here, James, and now surely Navi's going to converge on the 2-2 split. Joker Benito and Exhal now. I actually like that they jump into the Odom of AC, though. Finds Simon and Slaven from this confirmation here. The circle goes southeast. We're going to get outside Dan Ching, and that's actually kind of huge.
I think you were right about the Navi movie. I mean, it has to happen now. At the same time here for Jogo Benito. Bear in mind as well what we were talking about before with them working on very limited resources by the looks of things. That's only ever going to slow them down on some kind of hold for this. Who knows how much utility they even have to try and deny this from Exhal on the other side of things. Blue Zone and Picture as well, as all of these teams are now crashing into these important locations. And a doozy with a mortar now is putting in some work against Ascend.
I would be hating life if I heard mortars and then I also got hit by mortars. Like, everyone's using them. There's just mortars everywhere. They're pumping the blanks full of the mortar. And obviously that's the car, not our co-caster I'm talking about. Paul Blank, yeah. The T-Bone is going to get in and Ascend's going to go to bet to a 3-man though. On this southwest side, Soul's there. Nemesis is there. Virtus Pro has some feet inside the southern side of this circle, James. And Navi still with the 2-2 split. How long are they going to get away with it? They're getting away with it, James.
I don't know. I mean, eventually, right, this circle's going to move. I think they're really cognizant of the fact that maybe we want to deny any potential backfills for holding it as long as they have done. And they do see Twisted Minds up on that north side. Whether or not they know it's exactly Twisted Minds, who knows? But they know that somebody's there. And maybe they want to deny that from moving on in. But as soon as they move as 4-man down into there, that could be a qualification game for them if they're able to make it work. They're only on 10 points right now. They need more.
Yeah, for sure. And this could be the game. I think they just want to lock down and hold the northeast of themselves. And then maybe from the angle that Boostic and Ferris has, is like the amount of information they're able to have to support the other guys is just too big to say no to. I'm not going to question decisions made by players like Boosted and Ferris for sure. They have some insight, some knowledge, some information that they're basing their information off, and they're just some of the best in the game, right?
For sure. And we saw that prevail at PGS2 to being able to take them a championship. And I know that there are other championships in their sights here. That said, though, Twisted Minds is now moving to be able to try and make a move on between the positions of Na'Vi at the moment. As we're on board here with No Slack, and Virtus Pro has themselves a BRDM. Cheeky boys. Looks like Navi's going to be regrouping, though. I think they realize now, okay, Twisted Minds moved into our territory. We cannot be caught divided here.
It's such a strategic move, the way they move their cars around, how the pressure they put on them. I'm not sure how much information they have in terms of what team and player that's in there, but yeah, could be happening too. Now in Tooling here with No Slack and VP next circle. If it doesn't come their way, they're going to have to finish and wrap this fight off or get into the BDM and kind of make into a new move here. But let's see where this circle pops, James, and where we're going to be going on to.
We'll see. Chill up. They're finally doing some damage here against Vitality, who have moved in underneath them. Bear in mind that they came in on the east side of Danqing, and the circle is going southeast as well. So all of these teams in Danqing now need to wrap up these fights and get going. Santa getting hit by the BRDM as Nixie gets out and shuts down more of No Slack. Unfortunately for No Slack here on the eastern side, as much as they get the circle shift, they've got Virtus Pro to deal with.
And surely this is just a try to send it to the middle, try to finish somewhere where you can sit up and hide in a bush for a while to see if we can get some placement points here. But because no slack, they are inside the top 8, and just a few more points feels like they're going to be safe. And now Virtus Pro, and that's how these side games. It could be a big game for them. Everyone is on the west side. Everyone is outside on the northwest side. And there's going to be huge fights happening and so much shots coming, especially towards Bushido Wildcats. They're sending it. TMO is taking so much shot at them. Natas and Zir here is taking so much shots at them.
And Bushido Wildcats' looting phase was kind of slowed down as well by the fact that they were embroiled in that hot drop for as long as they were. So they're probably not working with a whole lot, but they do clean up Scav. He's gone now. So being able to make this mad dash on through shuts down No Slack completely and may be able to take a decent spot, but they have now moved into what I would consider to be Virtus Pro territory. And I don't know if you want to deal with the Apex Predator in his natural habitat.
I didn't know that Tooling was Polar Bear Sanctuary, but I guess it is. No, with Bushido Wildcats, this is actually a great spot for them, but they could be backfilled quite easily here from VP once they get this knockout. And once they look into maybe a peek into this crate, it could be huge, but look at that. Oh my god, shots coming in here. It's Twisted Minds. It's again the Virtus Pro here. Can they take this deep? Ferris Fangs, but Toolin's already, they're going to try to get some confirmation on him. Demon Seal it.
Heyman on the other side hitting double Panzer against SQG, but that's by the by here as Twisted Minds is getting absolutely battered by the position here for Virtus Pro. They've moved in underneath them, but I think Virtus Pro is only a matter of time before we move on in here and get a flush and get a finish off here. At the same time, though, on the right-hand side, they do take a lot of damage there, thanks to Perfectix being able to do huge damage with that nade as well as spray. They were unaware of the fact that he moved in underneath them, and Virtus Pro will shut down Twisted Minds on this move.
Grexy and Lukarooks looks like they're going to be last. Yeah, Hakatori just finds these two open knocks here. And look at that, though. The push on from Bushido Wildcats. They're a huge push from them, actually, aggressively towards Virtus P. Super well executed by them.
See if we can get more from it. They know that they're over there. So you've got to shut them out. The problem is that BRDM that's still in play. Lukarooks in it once again. He was running over literally everyone in the previous game. We don't want to be going down once again here as Melman with M249 and Panzerfaust in hand. Could we have any bigger guns?
Oh, it's impossible. It's easy to spot them because once you put any of them on the back, it's going to be 50 more pixels compared to the other guns here. Celtic, look at this. This angle. It's going to lock this down. It feels like, though, the play is kind of open for the BDM to make something on that northern side here. Maybe try to lock out Na'Vi, maybe try to get a space inside. They also have an insane amount of utility. 4 or 5 boxes to loot from Twisted Minds and their common players here. But Correction, Lukarooks trying to lock this one down here. If I was Na'Vi and I saw BDM over there, I would be laying down the hammer and shooting all of it. Slaven, though, finds Sosa here, Nemesis.
Yeah. Get rid of it somehow, some way. So you're going to be the ones that have to move into it eventually. Mika, see what they can do alongside the Mythov here once again. They're in a bit of a danger zone at the moment. Only 14 points. Molly goes forwards here for X-Howl to try and be able to dislodge exactly what they need to be walking into soon. The problem for X-Howl is that there's multiple teams they need to walk to, and Hive is also doing a lot of damage to the Mythov, actually. So that means that might eventually help out X-Hive, but they're going to need to be stalwart. They're going to need to be strong in order to be able to move through this trench and move through some of these teams, and Schengen completely dismantles the Mythov.
2 nades coming into just to make sure there's nobody in that other smoke here, but surely they have the information that Howl is in here. They are in this spot, in this angle, and with the amount of cover they have already, and it looks like a PDM. I'm not sure if that's broken already from earlier. Lukarooks finds Metabay, though. That's an opening. Actually, great disengage here from them. Crossberg. Oh my god, Lukarooks find another one here. What a great play from him. Diffix finds Code Marco. It's falling apart completely for Bushido Wildcats, and Nemesis is backfilling this fight completely.
Yeah, considering that Bushido Wildcats technically had the center bear down on them completely, this is not ideal at all. But at the same time, you've got such strong teams also pushing in on this position. Na'Vi's made a huge cross. They backfilled the position here of Virtus Pro. Virtus Pro had to abandon that, and now Bushido Wildcats might be the first head on the chopping block here.
3-way tie for no slack. Jogo Bonito and VP here. Kilyakai finds Jogo Bonito. They're out. It's a send actually on a big game here. 6 kills. Sure, Kilyakai might be going out here, but that's a great step up for the next one here. Dante and Hive having confirmed their game, and Exile is out in 7th place here. 4 kills for them. Fall Guys strong on the western side for their campaign throughout this remainder of today. Looks like a quite easy top 8 for them. The question is, can they lock down first place? Can they get the 16 points for the PGC points here for PEC?
After all is said and done here, Martin, we are getting some of the big dogs making a push for it towards the end of the day, because Virtus Pro moving into the top positions, good for them. Na'Vi still outside of it, but they are still alive in a position where they can also do quite a lot of damage to these teams. I guess eventually one angle that they're wanting to be concerned about is all the way across the circle, right? The fact that eventually once Hive actually shows their head, Navi's already taking shots at them. You can see it here on this line of sight as well. They understand if they can shut them down, they've got so much room to work with on this north side, and it's perfect shots to start things off.
Cannot deny the discipline and the confidence that we have on Na'Vi here. Staying 4 guys alive, and now they're looking so strong into this next circle here. Millman actually gets the blow up onto Rocks here. So, oh my god, damage done as well. Hive is falling apart a little bit, even though they had the BRDM, they had the cover, they had the smokes to work with, but the impact that Na'Vi is having right now, and Nemesis actually also coming in for the third party, is working quite well for them.
I think that M249, if they have to peek on over or do something, okay, the BRDM's on fire anyway. I didn't even crack that. I was just looking at the map. So now, yeah, Hive's got almost nothing to work with. A hope and a dream and a smoke. What can we do here, Hive? But you have done enough. 36 points on board, and that is a banger of a nade coming in from Spiro. Does he get the follow-up? He would love to get those 2 confirms. Looks like Diffex is coming in to steal them.
That's one steal. Great play here from Nemesis, trying to make sure that they can lock down this first place right now. 37 points, 1 point ahead of Hive. If they can shut them down. Great push here from Millman. Nice. Oh my god, he's going to get another one. He's going to get away with it, James. Hakatori, though, has something to say about it. He pushes him away from this. Hakatori finds Dante. That's another steal coming the way of Na'Vi. Oh my god, tons of damage done from State. They all have M249, so what's going on?
Yeah, I guess they were ready for any BRDM encroachments. Because if they all started shooting at it with an M249 each, that would have been carnage. But at the same time, they're just shooting at everything that moves. They're just seeing a few pixels behind some of these trees here. Lucarux and Corexi here are now very vulnerable as Virtus Pro, as he's still alive. But Lucarux with 5 kills on board as well here for Virtus Pro, who was able to rule a decent chunk off that east side, but the teams moving in behind him are going to have things to say about that, as Corexi now is completely down. It's hold on, Lucarux, to do something.
Look at that. He's got the info into his knock. Oh my god, he finds Sosa as well. Cannot believe it. Can he lock this range down as well? Oh my god, he does it too! Insane play here from Lucarux. Can he get 1 or 2 more points from this one? No, Millman has something to say about it. Our PGC 2022 winner with Na'Vi locks that down. Nemesis in first place with 42 points. Hakatori, though, has something to say about that one. And yes, Na'Vi is poised for the win, James.
Yeah, looking to try and make the run for it here, making sure that the PGS2 champions from 2026 is going to be able to jump into that top 8 and get directly into the final here for the first one. As another nade, it is perfect. It's Na'Vi getting themselves the win here, controlling and dominating Rondo. And if you cast your mind back, Avenger, to PGS2, it was Rondo that started that meteoric rise from Na'Vi as well. They just look so good on this battleground.
I don't need to think back to it. I dream about it every night. And I dream about that nade from Keta. Construction workers completely locked down and shot out. Now, Ascend actually had a decent game here, but it's all Na'Vi. Look at that 2-2 split. We talked about it throughout the game, James. And them being able to play so smart, so patient, and then still coming into the late game and having such a huge impact. Stealing a little bit of kills here and there, losing some, but the nades and the mini gameplay was just on a different level here. And also, the ordnance and all the explosions we saw in this debut was insane.
The way you describe it there, like a mini game and blank, that's what it kind of reminded me of. Like the idea of like, okay, let's set up this trench that you've got to run through, and people are going to shoot 50 mortars at you, whilst you try and get from one side of the trench to the other. And it wasn't easy blank there in that.
Yeah, it could have easily been like a separate mode that they had, honestly. It's just the walkway of death. Yeah, pretty rough. We've got to anticipate where these monsters are going, and you can't really do that anyway. So pretty tough for a lot of these teams. But I will say this game was sort of a masterclass in ordnance overall. I mean, you see there Spiro with that insane nade, but there was some great stuff throughout the entire game. TMO going down to an insanely well-placed incendiary. There's loads of really, really cool stuff that happened in this game that was basically all utility usage, and it has to be when you get to these rolling areas of the map where it's all that matters. But again, it was just so cool. All these highlights are just insane nades been thrown across. But yeah, you can really tell we're getting to that stage in the tournament structure where we're getting in crazy teams in, like hitting these nades back to back.
Yep.
But last chance saloon here for Na'Vi as we head in towards our next game. Can they keep themselves in? And will Seoul be able to do the same? Because I think with that, just about ekes them out into 9th place.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously only getting themselves 5 kills on the board, admittedly, but that does put them down into what is, as you say, kind of, you were almost on the nail on the head. It's a tied, like, 9th place, basically. It's just the placement points that's been able to eke it out here for Bushido. Admittedly, quite a bit in that regard, but it's still all to play for. Does that keep Na'Vi completely safe? Not necessarily here, Martin, but you'd like to think that our PGS2 champions should be able to ward it off in the next game.
Yeah, I would assume so, right? But still, it's only 5 points from a few teams, and they know exactly how to count and calculate exactly what they need, right? But if you look at this one here, Hakatori says no, and I think that's going to be a no. Look at Lukarux as well. Actually, 6 kills tied here between Lukarux and Hakatori. What a game from both of these guys. Great game from VP overall, but imagine if they hadn't lost those 2 guys to Twisted Minds and, of course, also Na'Vi locking that down. They would actually have a great game from that eastern side because they actually had the terrain that Na'Vi took away from them. So that would have been huge. But yeah, good game for VP still. But yeah, I think it's 3 or maybe 4 spots open here, guys, with how close it is in our 9th and I think shared 7th or 6th place or whatever on the 26 points.
I do wonder.
1,800 damage?
That's a ridiculous ratio.
Crazy.
I do wonder how many times, if you go back into the history of like Hakatori playing Rondo, is he man of the match on Rondo? Because it must be high. Like Hakatori on this battleground is just absolutely bonkers. But he's doing a lot of work for them so far. And it's not even Boostic that's in 2nd place. Spiro, of course, ever the veteran blank. Of course, we know him from Northern Lights Virtus Pro, basically the Twisted Minds X roster. And Toffee's posed that interesting question of like, but what if this Na'Vi roster beats Twisted Minds to a world championship and Spiro gets it before those guys? That would be insane. And there's a world where they could because they've got the chops for it.
They do. I mean, although Spiro was sort of lower on the damage end there, I think that a lot of his damage was very clean and consistent, where whenever he was getting that damage on, he was getting a kill off the back of it. But overall, Na'Vi was taking pot shots all over the place. But Hakatori, man, what a player. I mean, even earlier today on Miramar, seeing some of the shots he was throwing out, it's just kind of a machine, right? It feels almost otherworldly watching him play. Yes, absolute cyborg. Yeah, really, really cool to see, though. And I think overall for Na'Vi, 28 points, it's not entirely safe, but they're feeling way better than they did at the start of the day. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I think currently it's a 10th, 9th, and 8th place tie, which is wild, and it's just off of those placement points. So this next game is going to be insanely cool to watch end out. And like you say, Martin, I think that it's a very interesting thing where, we do say, players can count, but it also changes the way you play too.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, it definitely does. Before we actually get to Martin's points, though, we've got to check in with Twisted Minds comms that we can't understand, but we'll see what their POV is as we check in from this Rondo game.
270
единица, тройка, можешь в разные стороны.
Там 280 плюс, я уверен.
Давай мы поедем, а ты потом будешь стрелять.
Давай, 273 я буду стрелять.
Готов?
Да, стреляй.
Да. Готовы?
Но все равно ждать, пока она еще долетит.
Хуяк.
Слышал, Дип? Надо ждать, когда она долетит еще.
А я увижу.
Он тебя не видел. На нас будет заезжать. Базуку готовьте. Бля.
Нету базуки, нету.
Слева идет фул.
Два нока.
Бля, там сзади раскручивает кемп.
207.
Yeah, I don't think we need to know Russian to understand that Batulin's required a spotter for his mortar play during all of this, as well as trying to deal with what was going on that ridgeline when they were pushed up against Virtus Pro. I think when you look at their push up against Virtus Pro, it was interesting to see that VP had just completely forgotten really to check some of that little bit of a lip, and Perfectius was able to get that nade and spray off the way he did. It was a bit uncharacteristic of Virtus Pro in that push there, Martin.
Yeah, I felt like the play that they were setting up to do was to take the BRDM and send it over the edge, so Twisted Minds would turn around and shoot at it, and the guys would run over. But yeah, that little copy there definitely felt a little bit forgotten for sure. But yeah, I'm 34 points. They're still safe here, but they want to win everything, right? And there's 16 PGC points to go at the first place, so 30 is not enough for them. But yeah, that's a huge play. But yeah, we have to come back to remember, even for Perfecticus, nade and knock there got stolen as well. I think Hakatori got both of them. And the 10 kills and 1800 damage, that's a record for PEC as well. Like, he's just unreal. And I gotta be honest, I think with after what we see here from Navi, I think 28 points is enough. The 26-point tie between Noslag and Joker Benito and tied 6th, basically. Those teams are gonna focus each other so much. And then the 24 points between Viz, Bushido, and Soul, that's gonna be a focus as well for those guys. So I think there's effectively 3 spots up for grabs here. But yeah, we'll see what happens in the last game. It's going to be cool.
I mean, I don't even need to ask this as a question. I think Hakatori at this point, internationally as well as regionally, he's making a case for best player in the world. Like, and it's pretty undisputed. The way he's playing at PGS, the way he's playing here, and the way even when this team has, in theory, leveled up their roster as a whole, there's still moments where he's carrying. Like, it's just unreal.
Yeah. I mean, there's always that argument to be made that, you know, even though your stats are really high, you maybe not the best player in the world because someone else is more reliable to have in your squad. But Hakatori does make it look so good, and really salvages a lot of situations which would feel unsalvageable. And I think that's the difference maker. But yeah, it's not often. Yeah, it's not often you see a play like this come around. It is once in a lifetime type of deal.
I mean, the thing is that all we have to do, Martin, is think back to the roofs of Miramar, the roofs of Picardo, and see how they won out PGS2, which was just insane. But of course, we compare 2 other big damage dealers in this lobby right now. Lucarux, who, I mean, there was some people, you know, looking at him as like one of the more underrated players because he's on a team full of stars, and then going up against Mogor, who's been able to make a real decent name for himself in these few games.
Yeah, for sure. And with the, of course, Lucarix in this game was massive here. And the total, we're talking total damage and kills here when we come to it here. But we're ready for the last game, James.
All right, well, let me go. It's game number 5. I'm going to leave it to you and Blank to bring us home, bring us to Erangel, see who gets top 8 into the final.
Straight into it then, Mr. Avenger.
Yes, baby.
The south side up towards the offensive. But we're going to see how this one goes. We are running out over on Erangel as per usual. Back to a little bit of normality, which again is nice. I would say that Erangel does feel like a bit more of a consistent map for teams just because they've played it for so long. But this is the perfect place to try and make up for those points or just get the exact amount of points that you might need to stay in contention.
You know what? I'm just thinking of this and saying, okay, I just want to avoid the top teams if I'm in the chase and then focus on the guys that I'm directly competing with, right? Because these guys know where everyone's dropping. These guys know exactly what's going on here. And a direct contest we're not going to see, but it's a little bit scary if you're close to that cutoff. Even if you're in 24, 26 points here, I'm not worried for Navi. They're going to get their 1, 2, 3 points. They're going to get into 30-plus points. That's going to be enough. I think there's realistically 3 places to be fought for here from 6, 7, and 8. And we get a crazy circle after that plane path blank. Holy.
Yeah, it's a lot of water in that one. And very undecided as well, because that undecided part of the map where it's always rough. I mean, this heads down towards that south side. It's a little bit easier, but still you're playing towards those fields. But if it does head up towards that north side, you have these weird decisions to make, and you never really want to have those 50-50s when you're coming into a game that could mean the difference between you and qualification. So we'll wait and see what does happen with phase 2. For the meantime, most teams are on the move. VP, as per usual, we saw them do this on their very first game of the day today, which is a very fast send over towards the eastern side of Quarry, just to give themselves a little bit more time to work with. And from this, they could even play western side, Avenger.
Yeah, easy peasy for them here. Hive looking to try to take first place away from Team Nemesis. They're 7 points behind right now, and Dead Center holding down Gatka. They're looking for maybe a repeat here. They could try to lock this down. They're like, Nemesis, oh, you're not going to get this one. We're going to take this. We're going to lock it down. No slack, though, on the South George. They could be encroached on from Team Vitality. And as you see, the general consensus, once we see, we just saw Corexy, the stream here, and then we see the rest of the Finnish guys. And my conclusion here is, Blank, that electricity in Finland is very expensive. So turning on your PCs, and there's not going to be enough money for the lights turned on in the background.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to take something away to gain something. In this case, it's more PC power. One doesn't even have a camera on. That's fine. One's horizontal on the vertical, which is sort of unusual. I'm accepting it. I'm accepting it. Maybe that's just how he plays. He sticks himself to the side of the wall with some duct tape.
I think so too, man. Some have standing desks and they're walking around. Some guys have, gaffer taped, duct taped their desk on the wall and is sitting sideways. That's fine as well. Over here to construction workers, a underwhelming day though for them so far. You could say with the 8 points they've garnered. I'm not too worried about them. We have 2 more days of playoff, 2 more chances for them to get into the grand finals here. It's top 8 today. It's top 5 tomorrow, Blank, and it's top 3 on Sunday, the last chance to try to get into that grand final that we're going to be happening already next weekend.
Yeah, I do think that you're right. I mean, construction workers are struggling, and again, it always hurts to lose Gustav for them. I think we said it earlier today, but he's really good inspiration in terms of leadership for the squad, has that experience to go by, and now you're in that moment where you need that kind of veteranship more than ever. But they're still making it work. They've got great players on that team who've had a lot of experience over multiple tournaments in the past. It's just rough, like having that switch up happen. But we know that they've been scrimming, they have been practicing with Pixelic in. It's definitely possible, like you say, over the next couple of days. It's not over just yet.
It's not over for sure. Vitality is the biggest surprise for me. We've seen great things from them. 4 points is not on form to what we know that this team is capable of. Just alone, Levante, I think he got 3 of the 4 kills. Like, that's just next level for them here. But difficult circle. There's some water in play here. Both the river and also the harbor part of Georgiopol has a lot of impact here. And also, with the teams that's locking down already, I think we're going to see a lot of teams try to get up. And there's Suji already doing it. Getting onto Everest here, locking down some of the sides could be massive for them. The amount of information you're able to gather up here is just next level, Blank.
Yeah, playing around Castle as well. And you've got that compound down towards the south side. The all really strong positions. It's an aggressive hold coming through from S2G. But it is a really successful one if it does play down towards that south side. I didn't really want to bring up Vitality. I'm glad you did, to be honest, because it really doesn't look great for this team. In the meantime, Mospiro from Na'Vi might find 2, but Vex is able to jump out of the vehicle just in time and takes down Spiro. And they should be able to get their player back up again. It is a bit of a tumultuous approach there for construction workers, but they live it.
I don't know why they would even go to that compound or drive by it, but maybe they saw a car there and engaged it. I don't have the information. Maybe they do. TMO, though, now finds stay at here. Nemesis losing a player when they're in first place is a little bit rough. Obviously, sure, they might not get first place from it, but if they can hold on to it, would be great. The 16 points is massive. Could be a difference maker once you garner all your points throughout our playoffs and our grand finals. Obviously, way more points is given away in the grand finals here, but 16 points could be the difference maker once we talk top 3, top 4. Bushido Wildcats as well here. One of the cutoff teams, they're in the 3-way tie here with Seoul, with this, and 5 more, 6 more, 7 more points. The cutoff is likely going to be high 20s, early 30s here. Now, Na'Vi, another side, they're thinking, okay, are we going to pull up with these guys? They have nothing to lose. They know that they're probably not going to be able to make it into the next day's playoff, and we just need a few more points. Shots already being done here. Boostic says, I'm not going to hide. I'm just going to try to take the fight early on.
I mean, that is really, but they have the angle to go for it, right? They've got the overwatch over towards construction workers. You're right. They just need a couple more points. So they're absolutely fine to just hold out this team. And that means that if Seoul rocks up behind them and they can steal a couple of points away and then start moving off towards the western side, this is a fine play for Na'Vi to hold out construction workers. It is still a 3v4 though, so they do have to be a little bit cautious on this area. But did want to go back to Bushido Wildcats real quick, because they have felt like Wildcats. A lot of prowling's been going on, and then there's explosive moments of where they pounce out, and you just see them light up the kill feed. But other than that, it's been a little bit quiet. And I think that we haven't really seen those big end game performances from them yet. Despite that, they're still in a position to qualify. But it is that late game I worry about, Avenger.
Yeah, there's not enough mangle. There's not enough lacerate from them just yet.
That's true.
I need to see more from them, to be honest. That's my big one here. The consistency has been there, but 24 points is the middling one. It's not to be certain to go into the top 8 here. And obviously a 3-way tie here is a rough one, but still, they're in a decent spot here, being close to Ruins, locking that down. But my worry is that it's extremely close to water. If the circle goes their way and they have a hard shift away from water once we get into phase 4 in terms of land ratio, that's going to be rough for them. I want to see them take more space, but maybe they're just ready on the pounce. They're stealth mode and trying to get ready to get onto Everest, because approaching it from that eastern side is actually the best way. Even though with S2G's 2-2 split here, it could be different from them here. Nemesis, though, holding down the garage buildings on the other side here. Oh, look at that. Grosa and a full 3 set. Probably easy for X-Howl. Let's see if they're able to get that early on.
Yeah, that's probably going to assist them in some of the Hail Marys that they do like to go for. Would be a lovely close quarters tool, especially on top of Everest, man. If you get a Groza on top of Everest, you start doing some manic peaks, you're in for a good time. In the meantime, though, I'd like to see that Bushido Wildcats play, right? You know, from stealth, they pounce out, they lacerate over towards S2G. That could be good. That could be good. It is always a little bit of a worry for S2G playing this 2-2 split that happens, where you can't quite get that immediate regroup, but you have enough time from the top of Everest to really spot that play coming through. But you do have to be on a bit of a swivel. But I think we can trust S2G to do that.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, even they have 2 third places so far, but the kills haven't been in there. And that's really what I want to see. I want to have that full team engagement, get some team wipes, get the 4 points from that full team wipe, either from one player or from all 4, as a synergy across the team is actually quite good. But yeah, the consistency finding the placement is huge. But now they're pre-driving here. I like this. They're pre-driving this. Oh my god, it's perfect, Bushido Wildcats here. No need to stealth anymore. Just lock down the position that they've agreed on and get into this one here. Shipless actually jumping up, maybe to try to get some info on Everest. He actually gets so much info. It's completely free. S2G's on the eastern side. Correctly finds Schengen here from high. And they're losing a player. Early on is super rough for them, because they're in the hunt for first place. They're in the fight to actually take Nemesis as their first place here if they get a great game.
Yeah, I mean, for Team Nemesis, quite happy about that happening. With Hive going down to 3. The scary thing is that Twisted Mind's still in the game, and they could easily leapfrog both Hive and Team Nemesis in this game. Perfectus already starting things out strong. Over towards S2G, in fact, from Sissy and X. Surprising they're able to pick up that one in the midst of all this. I think that's as they're trying to go for a little bit of a regroup over towards Everest. But that's an unfortunate pickup for S2G when they were in such an insane spot.
Yeah, I would like to see them play all 4 in the same spot here. Survivability is insanely important here, especially being a 4 guy strong. Because, like, if you go up against another team that's 4 guys, you're going to lose if you're only 3. Utility might get you some way, but a 3-man versus a 4-man almost always loses despite of position and utility. Now, look at that. The Sharks in the water. Twisted Minds know that they're up 1.
Yeah.
They might be able to get an opening here. Na'Vi on that south side, though. Look at this. Drive-by from Nix. He gets Dante down. Another point going the way of VP, and that's enough to secure them in my book.
Yeah, and I think for Hive, that's just rough, right? That's your first place kind of taken away from you now. Going down to 2 players, not really possible. I love that X-Howl were able to get that E pickup, but you're right. With the fact that they were fighting as well, they saw all the traces. They 100% knew it was free to take. They immediately get a lovely position in the circle. S2G instantly regroup over towards the compound. They know they can't play Everest anymore because they need the beacon. Getting their 4th player up kind of means a little bit more to them right now. And it is crazy, you said earlier, 3 third places today. You're still on 14 points, kind of going for that pacifist run.
Yeah, not a lot of kills coming their way. Solstice finds Simon here. Celtic going down as well to example. Lou goes down to Schiller. Huge fights going on, multiple sides here. Oh my god, Schiller finds Perfectix with the drive-by. Finds Lou too.
That's perfect.
That's crazy for S2G here. Really well played by them. And yeah, might be not enough points to come their way. But if they get a big game, even if it's a 3-man here, it could be massive. And also, could they get all 4 up again would be massive for them, obviously. Habibi, though, and Viz, currently 8th place, tied, but they have the placement points advantage here because of the win they had. But they need more points. They need more kills here, Blank, and that's the big one for them.
With Viz over the BRDM, though, it's a lot of survivability.
Yep.
All the way through towards our late game. That's nice to have. And even if you do get a high placing, you go with placement points, man. Vex is in. They try to go for drive-by over towards Beamy, but he's looking good so far. Luckily, Pixelate pulls his weight here, takes down Beamy, Vards over towards Lucaros. Can't see much through the smoke, but the shots are coming through clean and fast.
If I am Soul right now, I'm sending it to this position here. Up and down compound is crazy spot right now. Next circle does go away. It's going towards the water. That's an insane shift. And now Nixie, can he find one? He finds Vard. That's huge. That construction worker out. And they're sent straight into day 2 of playoffs. They're not in the top 8, but VP with 6 kills they're locking down 2nd place right now. But can they take it further? Can they survive for longer? And can they get a few more points? That would be massive. So, though, look at that. Driving straight past S2G here, trying to get deep into this one. They need the points. They're not inside the top 8 currently.
It's a dangerous push, but one they know they have to go for. That's tough, though. I mean, going out versus a Son-Off, oh, it feels bad. But Pixelic, I would say, definitely pulled his weight in that fight. It was just an awful roll-up from them. Soul now moving over towards Bushido Wildcats. This is the one-on-one fight that matters most right now because Bushido Wildcats, they're right on the cusp. Soul does take them down. There will be one player lying on the floor for Soul. It is Molodox. See if a doozy can be able to do this alongside the rest of his teammates. Nades have been sent their way. It's looking fairly good, but the bounce is not quite there. Over towards Bushido Wildcats. And it goes through, and it's perfect.
Phil first straight onto Crossbreak. It's a direct competitor taken out as well here, Blank. Taking down Bushido Wildcats, the team that they were tied with. Now Soul being able to get the points here. That is massive. Locking down a center position. And I'll say this already, next circle shift is likely to come their way. Looks like it's going to go west or something like that, though. Mogor here from high finds Nixie. It's rough. They're trying to get the recall back. Nixie trying to get the guys back on site here, and Hive was just locking down Godcap because there's the recall station open and available for them. Correx is going to be left alone here, but they're inside the top 8. That's fine, but they could have gotten more PGC points if they survived for a bit longer. Navi, though, now to take on to this, the southeast side.
There's a big push coming through over towards Viz. Habibi, though, some good shots to start things off from the cover of the BRDM. And I like this move from Na'Vi. They see the BRDM in play and they're just like, we're going to dip out. We can wrap around ruins. This is no problem for us. We don't have to take this fight right now. And it matters way more to us to get ahead of the picture. For Soul, though, the fact that they're the ones holding out Viz is really, really important. Because like you say, Viz is on 24 points. Well, Soul on 27. They don't want them to catch him up.
That's exactly right. And Na'Vi also, it's actually 2 points just between these 3 teams. And they're all on the southeast side here playing. It's kind of crazy for this game here. This, though, they're just going to wait for this next circle to see where we end up here. Soset finds Quizzy. Vitality and more Shamble. That's really rough for them to end like this here. But then playoff day 2 tomorrow. They can have a great start for that one here. Hello, my fans find Diffex and Nemesis falling apart just a little bit. If Twisted Minds, Na'Vi, or any of these teams that actually have more players alive have a big game, they could take first place away quite easily. Soset goes down too. Millman, last player alive on Nemesis, but they had a great day so far.
Yeah, Team Nemesis is absolutely fine. Swings himself through the window and
oh my God.
The knock off the back of it. Oh my goodness me. Some acrobatics into some perfect placement on the crosshair and then straight back through again.
That's good. Scary. How did he survive that? It's beyond me. Twisted Minds here, 2 men alive. I don't really see them getting a few more points here, but look at that 3-way tie on second place. 37, 37, 37 for Twisted Minds, VP, and Hive. It really comes down to how much more can they lock down this here. Soul looking to lock down this position from Na'Vi here. Can they deny them? This push here would be massive. Correctly finds Mogor. That's also VP pushing further ahead here. Viz and S2G. Big fight happening here for Viz trying to survive in this top 8 here, Blank.
I mean, they're moving through S2G on their sidelines. They do lose Schiller, but easily resable, I'd imagine, from this position. The Hive is currently just flying around. It looked like it was okay for a while until we realized that they'd res their players, they'd come back in, and they've got nothing. Like, they're probably going to end up swimming in the waters for a little bit.
TMO, though, 19 points, 7 points from 8th place here with their position currently, and all 4 alive, and the utility of 48 teams and all the cars available to them. That could be actually a potential game to jump over either Noslack, Soul, Jogo Benito, any of the teams that's close to the cutoff here. Top 4 is done. The question is who takes second place, but I would say right now, if Na'Vi falls out early, even Jogo Benito, Soul here, I could see Viz and TMO jump up into a great spot here. So let's see who survives the longest. Is it going to be Na'Vi and Soul with their position? It feels like the winner of Soul or Na'Vi actually is the team that survives inside the top 8, obviously.
I mean, it's a cool game so far. I mean, there's a lot of action happening, a lot of important action too. I mean, for TMO, it would be a very sick run. They get themselves up into top 8. And definitely possible with the amount of players they still have on board and the position they're holding over in this Northwest. But they do sort of need another northern shift on this one to make it work so they can play in from this side. It's going to take a little bit to make it work, but Aduzi does find another knock from their side of things. Just wants to make this as safe as possible.
Smoke coming out here, and that's easy. But yeah, Twisted Minds finding in Hive here. Oh, it's falling a little bit apart here for Hive. That's very unfortunate. I'll blow your mind here. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
TMO has 2 more kills than Na'Vi before this game started. TMO has 0 placement points. Na'Vi has 15. Schiller finds Batul as an example. Twisted Minds is out in 12th place here.
You blew my mind, and you blew Twisted Minds' mind too.
It's an explosive day so far, I can tell you that.
Oh, Christ alive. I mean, yeah, I think for TMO, it's been a rough day. But a salvage here at the end would be sick.
The play them for though here is sending it on Ascent. They need to take cars. They need to get kind of a foot inside the door of the next circle here and take on Ascent. I don't know how much information they have from where they are, but they're full 4-man strong. And Ascent is in a really broad, I think, involuntary split here with Kilyakai being on the southern side and Keter and Itzchris being inside the middle. Kilyakai here is on a mission. He's coming from Narnia, basically, through a door somewhere in a jungle, in a forest, and now trying to get over to the other guys. It's going to be an impossible task. He's going to have to move through Exile. And I think if TMO finds a perfect timing here on the Exile and Ascent fight, that could be massive for them here. But yeah, no slack. Inside the Harry Potter Tower is also a little bit dangerous, Blank, because they're going to have to make them way in, and they're going to have to fight Jogo Benito for it, which is the team that they're fighting for here. TMO, as I said, trying to find Ascent, though. Can they find something? Oh, my God. Finds it, Chris.
Yeah, just kind of unsure what Ascent's doing right now. I mean, they are able to do a lot of damage over towards TMO. It's just sad that Kilyakai's in Africa and the rest of his team's in Beijing. We'll see if they can regroup at some point. It's looking unlikely with Exhal's position. But this backstab could be insane, actually, as things do progress through. S2G really haven't had to move at all. They have inched barely outside of their starting position on this game. But Ascend are given that opportunity to get their player back up again. He-Man, he's going to try and leave. It's going to be awkward, though. And for TMO, those chances are dashed in a moment.
Yep, back to the lobby and back to playoff day 2 tomorrow, guys. A full 4-man pull-up would have maybe worked. There were only 2 guys there, but yeah, the third party from Exile would have been impactful. But the information that Kilyakai is getting here is absolutely next level here.
It's wild.
Ascend might actually have a blinder of a game. If he can get 1 or 2 kills here, would be insane, Blank.
Oh Oh, he sees one at least. He's waiting for the second.
He's got two. Oh my god. If they're close together. Oh my god. He's got to strike soon though. Damage is happening onto his Chris.
Around, right?
Yeah. Damage is happening on his Chris here, Blink. He's got to strike soon, otherwise he might lose teammates to this.
Pulls out the nade. I mean, if you can get one nade onto one and then take down the other, that's what he wants to go for.
Oh my god.
Come on.
Oh, no.
Oh, he's winning the trade. Stun grenade coming out. He has cover on the vehicle. We'll just push in front of the stun grenade. Kind of an insane play, but he took too long. Took way too long.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. X-Howl turns around on him. He had an opportunity, but the time to strike and the window of opportunity closed quite quickly on him. Correction, though, finds multiple S2G here, but then 249. He just mows down the entirety. Oh my god. Quit Pat finds Pains meanwhile, but Baron gone down to Correction too, falling completely apart for S2G here, though. The pull-up from Viz. Look at this, though. Viz, they might be able to make it.
Yeah, I mean, they're still chasing, and Na'Vi's down to barely
1 HP.
1.1 of the player. But Viz is chasing still. So for Soul, although they might stay in with the points they're getting at 31 and the 4 players, for Joga Benito, as well as No Slack, it's looking worrying.
Yeah, but if Soul gets out and gets Joga Benito out, it's about Viz here. Oh, it's kind of crazy. I think Soul is in, though. I'm not too worried about them. Their position is good. Slack also 4-man strong, holding down the northern side here and actually gets quite a lot of impact from this angle. It's uphill. They've got cover. They've got things to work with here. Comes down to if Viz can survive for long enough, longer than Joga Benito, and maybe get a kill here, that could be the impact. Stratos is just sitting alone in the BRDM inside the center. Habibi bleeding out here. He needs to survive. He needs to get points. Ferraris finds its Chris here. Is X-Howl making a run for it? They could win the game with a few kills and actually get into the top 8 too.
Yeah, I mean, they need a few kills off the back of this, but as 4 players coming off the back of Everest, having the full wipe over towards Ascend as well, grabbing all the loot, all of the gear, it's a nice reset for them overall. Pretty low on the ammo on that P90, but this is okay. They can still work with it. They can switch out the weapons. But S2G making a swipe round here, Avenger. They're behind them. X-Howl, but he hasn't looked behind them. The second time they've been backstabbed, it's so rough, but immediately there are shots going their way. But that's not before Odin does fall.
S2G also needs to get kills and a win here to make their way into the top 8 here. A lot of teams actually has a chance to do it. Oh my god. Flores taking blue zone damage eventually here. Surely they're going to get some reses off too. Howl actually surviving for much longer than suspected here. S2G now making a send for it. Can they survive for long enough here? Can they get the kills to make this happen? Molodox finds Joga Benito. This looks like their campaign is about to end.
Yeah, I mean, for Noddy, it's going down. Joga Benito looking like they're in a tight spot at the moment. Nade's going the top, and that is Joga Benito down. So Viz just need to live a little bit longer. That's all they need.
One kill.
Placement points would do it as well.
Yeah, 1 kill, 1 placement points would do it here. And there is an Ascent player that's left alive as well. So it's looking likely. If Kera gets found here, that is Viz jumping above Joga Benito. I think Na'Vi is safe unless we see something crazy from S2G or Howl here. I don't think that's happening, though. They're going straight up against each other. It looks like mutual destruction with a third party from NoSlack. From my point of view, with the amount of spots that NoSlack has on this spot here. But Kera, man, he could have an impact. He could strike and hit a booby trap on one of these guys here. Flourish goes down, Scaff goes down, so it's actually X-Howl finding a lot of impact here onto NoSlack. NoSlack is safe at this point. 32 points is enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it is interesting for S2G where they swipe over towards that western side, hoping for a little bit more of a weaker approach on the circle, only to run into 4 players from X-Howl. That's unfortunate for S2G, but they're looking to make this work either way. Odin Mavasi, though, yeah, it's a massive nade into a good knock with the M4, and you're right, it's just mutually assured either side. Both teams blowing themselves up. NoSlack looking to take on now Soul, who have gone above and beyond what they needed this game.
NoSlack's win was the start of this catalysator, and I love this. Soul having a little bit of an impact, poking a little bit. Got tons of loot to come in and get some more utility too. NoSlack making most of it work here. Can Quetpa maybe get an impact here? Look at that. Stratus also driving out. He doesn't realize. He just needs to survive for just a bit longer. And that's it. Look at that. Vis jumps into 8th place here. That is their campaign through, and Stratus just needs to survive for a bit longer. Maybe if Howl makes it, that could be crazy, but I don't see it happening right now. They need to get kills and the win. Ascend also 6 more points to come their way here. Stratus just chilling inside. Keter just chilling in behind a broken up car.
It is crazy for Viz that they're probably celebrating right now, getting back to where they were at the start of this game. It's a tough one. I think a lot of people really gave it some welly this match, which I love to see. For X-Howl, there was a chance here. There is still potentially a chance here. But we'll wait and see as things do progress, because they'd be going through the ringer versus Seoul, and you really just don't expect X-Howl to be winning against the team across the road here with such control over the map. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see, especially with No Sight playing from the top side of a road. As we've seen earlier today, they seem to thrive from that position.
Okay, he actually gets into cover here. Howl, man. Could be insane. Stratus comes out and tries to strike here, but he gets found. Damage done here from Molotov. Jumps back in, trying to get something happening here. Look at that. Keter is really the next. Oh my god, a blue zone onto him. That's going to force him out, force him away, or at least try to drive over there. And now, with everything happening here, Noslack jumps over to the other side here. If they go out, they maybe get a kill or two, and they are able to win over Seoul. That's it for Howl. That's a kill. That is 1 point for placement, 1 point for the kill here. Howl jumps up into 22 points here. Does Keter strike and destroy their dreams at this point? I'm not sure, but Noslack and Seoul is going to be the next team that's going to be fighting just shortly here. The Mad is inside. Filfer is trying to put on so much pressure onto them. Molotov has a shield to work with. And smokes are being deployed here for Howl. Look at that. They actually have tons of stuff to work with. Phil first. That nade could actually do a lot of damage. Oh, he's going to put it back into his pockets.
I mean, everyone's just medding up here for the final showdown inside the game. X-Howl is kind of struggling with the position they're playing with. It's a little bit cramped over on that side of the road. And they've still got Keter, like you say, on that side. It could be a real big issue for them. They've not quite cleared him out just yet. I think they assume there's a player still in this location, as they did take shots and take a lot of names on Ascend, but no instant flush.
This nade's going to have an impact here for sure. Molotov finds actually, look at that. Molotov finds Sata as well. Snowslack is going down. The nade actually didn't connect anything. And now it's time for Howl to try to make a move here. Another placement point coming their way. Can he find something? Mad finds Phil first. Keter now is the man to destroy the dreams of X-Howl, that's for sure. Soul is down to a 3v3 with X-Howl, and Keter is on the side from Ascend here. He could have an impact. Imagine, though, he could also win it if he kills them. If he gets an impact and gets the win eventually. Keter finds one. He strikes two. Finds a flush as well. Finds 2 flushes. Ascend is up into 26 points. And he's out. Ascend is out in 3rd place.
Days.
That's enough. That's it. That's going to be it. That's not enough. Jogo Benito, 28 points. Viz, 28 points. And it's a tie for the placement points. And look at that. Molotov closes it off. And X-Howl doesn't stand a chance either. 13 kills here for Seoul to win the last game is insane, Blank.
How far do they go up the tables, though? How far do they go up the tables there after getting the chicken dinner as well? Because I'm very curious to see where they end up. Is it on top of the leaderboard, dude?
I don't know. We're going to have to ask Calaris, my friend. What do you think about that explosive game? That was an insane one to finish things off with day one.
That was wild, especially with the river being involved for as how long it was. That was crazy. So I think they're number 1. I think that Seoul is number 1 on the day. Yeah. What a crazy leap from them, in from ruins, after watching the highlights here and seeing how they're crashing on down against some of these teams. But this is the pedigree of this team Avenger, and I think it's fair to say, right? Like, we have watched this team, be it question mark, be it BB team, now Seoul, just constantly subvert the expectations of these lobbies and be able to wrestle away number 1.
Yeah, I mean, I talked a bit about it obviously in the start here, but I didn't expect such an explosive finish for them. They sent it through. They sent it in between Ruins and S2G and took it away from Bushido Wildcats, a direct competitor, and they're able to lock that down. That was just so well executed from them. And 13 kills to boot as well to finish the last game to do that. Maybe taking 1st place, I don't know, but 16 PGC points would be insane.
Yeah, what a debut as well for Seoul, right? As an organization, that is going to make the Indian fans blank unbelievably happy, seeing how they were able to take that fantastic win.
I mean, playing from behind like that as well, you know, we were talking about the beginning of the game, and I think this is why it caught us both off guard so much, is that I think they end up on 47, which is crazy. But we were talking at the beginning of the game, it's like, oh, they just need a few more points, but that's not good enough for Seoul. They need to end in first place, and to do that on the final match of the day, and that's magic.
Yeah, Phil First has been firing on all cylinders today, that's for sure. Apart from that first game, which was a bit wishy-washy for Seoul as a whole, everything else from there has been great. So it's 23 points going their way. That said, Avenger, God, it was so close for some of these teams in the pursuit, right? Like X-Howl trying to make the moves here from Everest, trying to make something happen, but they're going to miss out on it. 24 points is the end here for them. And Keta towards the end.
Dude,
so close.
So sad.
If Kilyakai on the top got the kills on X-Howl, they would have made it. They would have made it. If he got 2 or 3 kills and the other guys on the center turned around, they would have gotten 3 kills or 4 kills on X-Howl there, doing a burger on them, and it would have been enough. Or X-Howl didn't get striked on from Ascent, from Keta. They could have taken on Seoul and won and also been in, but nope. It's going to be day 2 of playoffs for you guys. See you tomorrow.
Crazy stuff. And those are the results. That's the top 8 that is going to be moving through into that final. And as you mentioned, PGC points are on the line every single day of the playoffs and also in that grand final as well. As Phil First, 731 damage here for Seoul to lead the charge. As I said, Blank, he's the Khabib of PUBG and he's doing Seoul proud.
Absolutely is. I mean, this is such a fun game to watch, honestly. It's one where you never really expect to happen, where you're so focused on the middle of the table of who's qualifying and who's not. All the while, you've got Seoul with a few pickaxes out looking for those diamonds, and they find them in the end. It just kept going.
Yes, it did. Molodux as well, getting himself 5 on the board as well. The stand-in for Twisted Minds at Internationals when Perfectix wasn't there, so it's not like they've gone unsated when it comes to some international performances. But it does make you wonder as well, Avenger, like, how does Seoul, when it comes to that, and as we take a look at the PGC points that have been earned from today, which will have impact later on, how does Seoul how have they been practicing without Molodux for like the PGS weeks? That's got to be a little bit rough, but they still seem to make it work just fine.
Plenty of time to practice. There are 10, 12 days and then a little bit of grind and then they have fun with it. Yeah, but it was close though, I gotta say. We didn't have a huge blow up. We're talking 40s. Points here. Nobody averaged more than 10 points per game on an average here, but yeah, what an insane day to finish off things, whereas Sander gets hydrated.
Code red, panic. All right, you guys at home can use half of that code and then go over to social media as well. Find the other half and then redeem yourself some code for some lovely G-coins, so make sure to do that. I need at least one of these days. One of them's got to be called Code Marco. Please, production, please. Let's see if we can get that cleared. But if you look at the standings, there has been some very important kind of moves from some of these teams, of course. We can talk about those teams that have been able to get through in the top 8, kind of moves from some not necessarily the ones that really came to mind straight away when we thought they were going to be able to make the top 8. But before we do that, let's check in with Virtus Pro and some of their comms from the previous game on Erangel.
Can he find something? Keta now is the man to destroy the dreams of X-Howl, that's for sure.
Different things out of Scott.
He's on the side from Ascent here.
1 me on me, 1 hit.
If he gets an impact and eventually, Keta finds 1. He strikes 2, finds a flush as well, finds 2 flushes. Ascent is out with 26 points.
Last guy.
And he's out. Ascent is out in 3rd place. That's enough. That's it. That's going to be it. That's not enough. Jogo Benito, 28 points. This 28 points. And it's a tie for the placement points. And look at that. Moldog closing off. And X-Howl doesn't stand a chance either.
Flash him. Nice.
Oh my god!
Maybe he's gonna die.
Yeah, that was a great game, obviously, from them to come in and lock this down. It was about to have fun for them. That was this day was about here, and having fun with construction work is always a good time.
Even they thought that the M249 was a funny one in the end. How much he was able to get away with those shots. But one thing's for sure in this final game, Virtus.pro was just rolling from fight to fight in a lot of this early moments, as we see now construction workers once again being the ones that were crashing on their position initially. But Blank, you could hear it in the comms as well. They were very clean about how they were trying to dispatch of this, despite taking some casualties here and there. Virtus.pro's winning a lot of fights, and that's why they're PGS3 champions.
Yeah, I mean, they do have these really fun fights they go for. I mean, Nixie's been really impressive today overall. And I mean, this sawed-off shotgun play just made me laugh so much because, like, what a way for construction workers to have to go out versus the sawn-off. But overall, yeah, very, very fun to watch, VP. I think when you do get into those situations where you're watching them in the team fights, they are very coordinated, but they're having fun at the same time. And that shows you a team that feels confident.
And that's the highlights here from Virtus.pro, who didn't quite take number one, but they've done enough to be able to get through into that grand final, and that's kind of all that matters here for some of these early days. Of course, I do want to talk about some of those teams that are a little bit more out of the blue being able to get top 8. But before we do that, I'm getting word that we have our interview ready to go for the day. And of course, it's none other than Mr. Ibiza joining us here. Hello, Ibi. How are you doing, mate?
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad at all. Better after watching the great action from the Virtus.pro boys, being able to roll from fight to fight and looking good whilst doing it. My first question to you, Ibi, is, of course, you guys have just come back off the back of winning PGS3. Obviously, that must have been a very high for you guys. So I want to talk to you about that high, as well as what do you think of the teams coming in from the Cups here? So kind of two questions, very different to one another to start things off.
I mean, of course, it felt super good to finish Korea in first like that. We had a lot of issues there as well. Especially, not a lot of issues, but we went through some things in the first 2 weeks. So it felt really good to come back strong. We got back here, everyone got back home, and we instantly started practicing again because everyone's still super motivated, and we want to play versus the EU teams again to see what's going on. And yeah, meta. I don't know. Sorry, what was the other question?
Basically about the Cups teams, right? Because I think that Europe's just, or EMEA is just a very strong region in general. You're going to have a lot of those teams coming up that are just very strong in general and can still hang with some of the guys at the top, despite being in inverted commas Cups teams. So what did you kind of make of the lobby? What did you think about the level of those teams coming in?
I mean, I think that level definitely went up a little bit in EU. Like, we have teams like Yoga Bonita now who are like showing how strong they are as well, and a few other teams. So it's not going to be only the same teams, I feel like, that we're used to, especially with the TPP shift as well. So yeah, kind of looking forward to seeing the other teams play more and see how strong they are.
Fair. Martin, your question?
Yeah, obviously I want to ask, it's a different approach to compared to last year, and coming into this, we're playing these best of 5 days here. What's your guys' kind of approach to this? Because obviously your first 2 games today, much like the first 2 weeks of PGS in Korea, only 3 points, very little points, and then you guys shift. What's the kind of approach, both for you as a coach, but also for the team? Is like, it must be rough mentally to kind of approach these best of 5 days, because there's so much on the line every single day.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, we don't really have like a particular plan. We play these games the same as we would do in the finals. But what is very important is that we notify when we cannot play for the win anymore, so that we get those few extra points. But yeah, we started off a little bit slow today, like you said, with 3 or 4 points. But to be honest, we didn't really speak about it too much, and we just went into game 3, and then we ended with like 13, 15 points, and then we started rolling a little bit from there in the confidence. But yeah, I just know that this team can shift. Like, yeah, we can have some bad games, but I know that everyone's mental is very good in this team. Everyone's positive. There's not like people that are like tilted, etc. And we just go to the next one and treat it like a completely different, like a new game. So that's very important.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Blinkers?
I mean, the last question I have to finish this off is that I think it's very obvious you guys are confident, especially for your team comms so far. I mean, especially coming into a tournament like this where it is just a 5-day split, it's super important to have that confidence right overall. Why do you think you guys are feeling this good so far coming into this EMEA?
I mean, of course, because we just got another international win. We got some confidence back through that. And we put in a lot of work again at home. Like, we played every single scrim. Like, we started scrimming pretty fast again. And in general, the boys are just playing a lot. Like I said, everyone's still motivated. The vibes are good in the team. I like the way we're doing things in this team. Like, I just think we're going to keep rolling from this. And yeah, I'm super happy so far with everything. So yeah.
All right, I guess my final question as well is, did Nixie unfollow you on Twitter like he did me as well?
I think he unfollowed everyone, but social media's details is like, you know, it's kind of bullshit. So I don't think it's too bad of a thing. So yeah.
You're not wrong on that, Ibby. Any final words before we let you go, mate, to your fans or everything?
Follow me on social media.
No, I don't have too much other than that we're excited to play the finals. And thanks for the interview. And hopefully see you guys next time again.
Awesome. Thank you very much for joining us, Ibby. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Good luck in the finals.
Good luck in the finals.
All right, thank you. Later.
Later. All right. Well, of course, that was Ibby. I got to sneak it in there. You know, see what's going on. Cheeky Nixie is a funny one. You know what? He's the MVP of PGS3, Martin. He's allowed to do what he bloody well wants.
Yeah, he can do what he wants.
And I mean, everyone.
Yeah, unfollow everyone. And he's still following Virtus Pro, of course. I'll say this, though. They had 2 weeks vacation. Sure, they had a few game days here and there. They didn't really play too much in its first 2 weeks. But when you enjoy a vacation like that and then you come in and dominate PGS3, everyone forgets, right? I've talked to a lot of fans. I've talked to a lot of kind of semi-pros, amateur players, casual players, and they are like, oh yeah, VP dominated. Yeah, they're so great. It's like, well, did they really? Like, they came in and they were insane in PGS3, but they had a really, really rough set of games for the first 2 PGSs, right? And
yeah, they did.
They turned it around, and that's really what you got to respect. And that's also why I asked, these best of 5 days, you just got to have that mental that we can win next game. No matter what, everyone starts equally, and we're just insane. So that confidence build up, that's gonna be crazy. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's good to see that they're able to turn it around as like 3 points in the first 2 games. I was like, that's worrying. That's not a lot. But then it just blows up, and Lookerworks goes absolutely insane in that game, right?
Yeah, that said, of course, they are absolutely one of the favourites to win this, but we cannot deny, and I was, towards the end, I was like, maybe we can get a doozy to do the interview, because it'd be really cool if we're like, because obviously, like, they just meteorically rise to number 1. I didn't expect them to quite get that many points there, Blank, but if there is a world where Seoul suddenly comes out and wins this tournament, which is a very real world because BB Team has been a previous PGS champion, then the entirety of India is going to turn out in full force and be like, yes, Seoul! What a great pickup it has been already after just 1 day.
I mean, as much as it's cool that the community and the fans are going to be like crazy about it. You've got to give props to Seoul management for picking up this team, for choosing this team.
It's a great pickup.
It's a great pickup, insane pickup. So well played to them.
Good old Thug and the boys over there in India doing us good here for PUBG. Well, thank you very much to them. And of course, thank you very much for all the great games that have gone down here today. And that's only the first day out of 3 elongated weekends. 4 elongated weekends, 3 days each week. So we've got a lot to feast on. And not only that, but the PUBG doesn't end here in EMEA just yet for today, because PAS is coming up right after this. So a few hours here from there, and then you can stay tuned and you can watch and see how everything's going to be going down over in PAS. So that does it for us, gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me. Tomorrow we are back, same time, same place. We are going to wrap things up, and it's been a jolly good time. A doozy and the boys from Seoul sitting at number 1 so far. They're moving through into the grand finals alongside the other 7 teams that move on forwards with them. We'll see you tomorrow for more PUBG action, but bye for now.